It's a chilly but bright, sunshiny day at Metropolitan Stadium in Bloomington, Minnesota. Hi, everybody. Al Hilfer here along with Monty Moore, and we're getting ready to bring you the play-by-play account of the first game of a four-game afternoon series with the Minnesota Twins, who, by the way, are doing quite well in the Western Division of the American League. They're tied with the Chicago White Sox with 6 wins and 4 losses apiece and playing .600 ball. So it's going to be the Minnesota Twins and the Oakland A's here this afternoon. For the Twins, it will be Dean Chance, the big right-hander, getting his first start of the year. He has no record so far. He's pitched only 5 innings, appearing in 1 ball game. And going for the Oakland A's will be Chuck Dobson, whose record is 1-1. So those are the 2 pitchers who will be starting in this afternoon's ball game, and we'll have the starting lineups for you in just a moment.
Here is Len Randell inviting you to live a little extra. When you go with the mileage maker, the extra mileage you get lets you live a little extra. It can be worth singing about. Atlantic Richfield Company.
Told you the starting pitchers for this afternoon's ball game being Dean Chance for the Minnesota Twins and Chuck Dobson for the Oakland A's. Right now, the umpires have made their appearances at home plate. Hank Bauer's brought out his starting lineup, and this is what it will look like. Leading off will be Campy Campaneris. He'll be at shortstop. Hitting in the number 2 position will be Tommy Reynolds, and he's been playing very well in the last couple of ball games. He'll be in left field. Reggie Jackson will be in right field. He'll be hitting number 3 in the order. Then comes Sal Bando. He'll be hitting in the number 4 slot and playing at third base. Hitting in the number 5 position, playing at first base, will be Danny Cater. Hitting 6th, Dick Green will be at second base. Hitting 7th, Rick Mundy. He'll be in center field. The catcher for this first ball game will be Jim Pagliarone, and Chuck Dobson will be on the mound. Dobson making his 3rd start with a record of 1-1. He lost to Kansas City 9-3. He beat the Angels 6-1, allowing only 3 hits in that one. He won 1, lost 4 to Minnesota in 1968. That victory came on the 27th of September right at the Coliseum in Oakland. Presently, his earned run average is 3.37 for a lifetime 3.43, and he's pitched 520 in 2/3 innings. So that brings you pretty much up to date on Chuck Dobson. On the other side of the fence, Billy Martin down at the plate now, exchanging this batting order for the Twins. He'll lead off with Ted Uhlaender in center field. Hitting number 2 will be Rod Carew at second base. Tony Oliva, who leads the ball club with home runs, 3, will be in right field. He'll be batting in the number 3 position. Following Oliva, we'll have the big guy, Harmon Killebrew. He'll be batting 4th and playing at third base. Greg Nettles will be the left fielder. He'll be hitting number 5 in the order. Hitting 6 will be Rich Reese. Rich Reese will be the first baseman. Hitting number 7th will be their newest acquisition on the infield, Leo Cardenas. Cardenas will be at shortstop, hitting 7th. Hitting number 8 will be the veteran John Roseboro doing the catching. And the pitcher for the Minnesota Twins will be Dean Chance, a big right-hander. As far as Dean Chance is concerned, he has appeared in only 1 game this year, going, as I said a few moments ago, just 5 innings. He pitched at Seattle Wednesday night. He allowed 3 runs. 2 of them were earned. He gave out 3 hits and walked 5 with 2 strikeouts. Then Ron Peronowski had to come in to wind it up with a 6-4 win over Jack Aker. As of this date, a year ago, this big fella, Dean Chance, had only a record of 2-1. But right now, he is 0-0. Again, let us tell you that the temperature is very chilly, and we have a lot of bright, brilliant sunshine. We have a lot of wind here at the Stadium in Bloomington, Minnesota. What wind we do have seems to be blowing straight out toward center field from home plate. Once in a while it'll veer off and blow out toward left. A surprisingly small crowd here this afternoon to witness this one as we'll get it underway. To tell you about the distances to the power alleys in left and right center field, 365 feet, 358 down the right and left field sides, and 430 feet to the batter's backdrop in center field. So this is quite a large ballpark, especially for a center fielder to be operating. Right now the Minnesota Twins are coming out to take their defensive positions on the field, and we'll spot them for you. For Minnesota, at first base will be Rich Reese. At second base will be Rod Carew. The shortstop will be Leo Cadmus. And at third base will be Harmon Killebrew. Out in left field, we have Greg Nettles. In center field, Ted Uhlaender. In right field, we'll have Tony Oliva. Behind the plate will be John Roseboro. And a lot of our friends remember him as a catcher with the Los Angeles Dodgers in the National League. Johnny Roseboro, and the pitcher is Dean Chance. Now, ladies and gentlemen, our national anthem. Before we turn Monty loose on the action of the first portion of the ball game, let's pause quickly for station identification. This is the Oakland A's Baseball Network.
This is the place, KNBR Radio in San Francisco. The Good Life is here on KNBR, the big one.
Cappy Caponera standing just outside the batter's box, ready to be the first hitter here for the Oakland A's. He'll be followed by left fielder Tommy Reynolds, and then we'll have right fielder Reggie Jackson, Sal Bando to follow if he's needed. Dean Chance on the mound, making his first start for the Minnesota Twins. He has no record so far this year. Again, repeating, he's pitched against Seattle. He pitched 5 innings, and he did not get a decision. Stiff wind blowing out toward left and left center field, and also it will swirl once in a while and go to direct center field. But it's quite a poke to hit the ball out of here to the center field pasture, 430 feet. So we're just about ready now for the umpire behind the plate, Jim Odom, to call for the batter up. We have Odom, Runge, Barnett, and Drummond, the umpires assigned here for this series at Metropolitan Stadium in Bloomington, Minnesota. It's the Minnesota Twins and the Oakland A's. Action about to begin. Caponera stepping up to the plate. Monty, you ready, buddy?
Good afternoon, everybody. Caponera is moving in with a 104 batting average. Little guy had a busy day yesterday down in Kansas City in the doubleheader. The first pitch is a called strike from Dean Chance. Dean Chance, the workhorse of the American League. He's the only pitcher going today who, for the past 7 years, has worked at least 200 innings a year. Here's the 0-1 pitch. Caponera swings and fouls it down. Strike 2. Chance is one of the fastest working pitchers in the American League. Very deceptive. He's a tough guy on right-handers. We're liable to see some wind-blown home runs here today. The wind is 27, gusting to 35 miles an hour, blowing out from home plate. The direction is changing somewhat. It'll blow towards left field, towards center, and towards right, but it's all blowing away from the plate. Here's the 0-2 pitch. Sliders high, ball 1. Chance last year struck out 234 batters. He's been one of the top pitchers in the American League ever since he came in with the Angels. Here's the pitch. Campy swings and fouls it off. Tom Reynolds will bat second for the A's here in the first inning, and then Reggie Jackson. The Twins are hot. They've won 6 games in a row. First time we saw the Twins, they had just won their first game after losing their first 4. But they are a team to beat in the Western Division. Everybody knows that. Here, chances pitch to Campy. Over his head, ball 2. 2 balls, 2 strikes to count. They had bad weather here yesterday in Minnesota. It was awfully cold for their game with California. 2-2 pitch. Campanera swings and misses. Strike 3, and he's out of there on strikes, and that's 14 strikeouts against Campanera so far this year. Campy is right now in an early season slump. Probably he reached his peak in winter ball where he hit about 370 for average, and then in spring training where he hit and hit and hit. But a guy can only keep a peak like that so long, and Campy hit his slump to start the season. Here now is Tommy Reynolds. Boy, this young guy's been hot. He's had 6 hits in the last 3 games. The pitch to him. Bouncing ball is short. Cardenas makes the play near second, throws to first, and there are 2 down very quickly. Reynolds, coming to the plate that time, was carrying a batting average of 400. Here's Reggie Jackson. He hit possibly the longest home run ever hit in Kansas City yesterday. Ball hit way, way up on the scoreboard there. And there are many estimates as to how far the ball traveled. But there's no question about how far it would have gone if it hadn't hit the scoreboard. It hit so hard it bounced back some 50 feet onto the playing field. Jackson hitting 139 with 2 home runs. Here's the pitch from Chance. High and outside, ball 1. Reggie's been up 36 times, has 5 base hits. He has 3 runs batted in. All of his hits, or 3 of his 5 hits, have been extra base blows. Here's the pitch. There's a drive into right center field, going right straight at Uhlaender, and he makes a nice running catch. So Jackson is out, and the A's go 1-2-3 here in the top half of the first inning. The score, the A's nothing, and the Twins coming to bat.
Well, say, how would you like to get out one of these nights and catch all the action at an Oakland A's ball game? Thrilled with the excitement of the crowd, and cheer the players, and yell at the umpire, and enjoy baseball at its finest. Well, all you have to do is get the family together, pile them right in the car, and then take right off. And along the way, you might want to stop at a Richfield station and fill up with Richfield Imperial Boron, the big mileage maker gasoline that gives you extra miles in every tank full. Extra miles so you can get out and live a little extra. Why not plan an evening around an Oakland A's ball game? Fill up your tank with the big mileage maker, Richfield Imperial Boron, and then take off. So we'll see you at the ball game.
Now Chuck Dobson, hard-throwing Oakland A's right-hander who won his last game, going all the way, beating the California Angels on a 4-hitter. He had lost his opener to the Kansas City Royals, going only 4 1/3 innings, and that one allowing 4 hits. Chuck was wild in that game. He wilded than normal. He walked 3 in just 4 1/3 innings, and that for him is a little bit wild. Liable to be a little tough today with all that wind blowing for the pitchers to throw the ball exactly where they want to. Minnesota Twins under Billy Martin had a pretty good spring training record, then a very disappointing start to their season, but they've got the horses, and there's no doubt about it, they're one of the best hitting ball clubs in the American League. Leadoff batter is Ted Uhlaender. Center fielder for the Twins, hitting .256. Uhlaender, one of the top hitters in the American League last year. Finished something like 7th or 8th in the league. All right, Chuck Dobson has his defense set up now and looks in for the sign from Jim Pagliaroni. And the last half of inning number 1 is underway. Here comes the pitch. Started him off with a curveball, high and outside, ball 1. In 13 innings this year, Chuck Dobson has struck out 12 batters. You better throw out an anchor. It's about to blow him right off the mound out there right now. You can see his uniform whipping around. Here's the 1-0 pitch. Curve. It's a little low. Ball 2. At the top of the Twins batting order, it's Uhlaender, Carew, and Oliva. 3 straight left-handed batters. They, as a matter of fact, have loaded up their lineup today with 6 lefties. Here's the 2-0 pitch. Fastball, whistle in there, call strike. Dobson against the Twins has a lifetime record of 4 wins and 7 losses. Here's his pitch. There's a drive in the left center field, hit awfully hard. Tommy Reynolds to his left, makes a shoestring diving, rolling catch. Oh, he's got it. Tommy Reynolds with a sensational grab in left center field. Listen to the hand for Tommy, an opposing player. Man, what a grab by Reynolds. He caught that ball with a headlong dive. He rolled over, did about a flip and a half, and held the ball. How about that one, Al?
Well, he proved another thing to us right there, Monty, that he's not afraid to dive for that ball, go for it, and take that gamble, and it paid off that time.
And alive. To get it is one thing, but to hold on to it while you're rolling over and over in that outfield is really something. Now here's Rod Carew hitting .389. This guy's American League All-Star second baseman as a rookie. Dobson's pitch to him, the curve, a little high, ball 1. Carew so far this year has 2 runs batted in. He's not hit a home run. Good ball player. He came right out of Class A ball into the starting second base position for the Twins. Here's the 1-0 pitch. Fastball bunted out and fouled off. So it's 1 ball and 1 strike. Wow, what a way to start a ball game. That Reynolds really turned in a spectacular defensive play in left field.
I guess the best way to explain what he did, Monty, was say, did you ever see anyone dive into a pool and take a belly whopper? That's the way he went after that ball.
Here's the whine of the 1-1 pitch. Fastball sliced off foul into the crowd. Well, one of the greatest things about the big leagues is to watch these guys do their thing and chasing a baseball and coming up with it. Tremendous defensive plays, to me, are about the most exciting things that happen in a ball game. And the A's have one of the outstanding defensive aggregations around. Here's the 1-2 pitch. Fastball lined into right center field, and that ball's going to be in for a base hit. Rick Mundy backhands the ball. Carew on his way to second. Mundy's throw in there is not in time. It's a double for Carew. So the Twins have hit 2 balls hard and 2 batters off Dobson. 1 caught, this one not caught. Chuck was out ahead of this guy and threw him a fastball, and he is a fastball hitter. And ripped it out. Now here's the hottest hitter in the league right now, Tony Oliva. This guy's batting .391 with 3 homers and 8 runs batted in. And Oliva is on right now an 8-game hitting streak. And during those 8 games, his average is .471. 3-time American League batting champion. He won the league title as a rookie. Now Dobson to the stretch. Here's his pitch. Curve. Strike gets called in there. The Twins with Carew, Oliva, Killebrew have some of the outstanding punch in the American League in the middle of their lineup. They've got pretty good speed. 1 strike count on Oliva. Runner at second base. There's 1 out here in the first. Dobson holding a long time. Now throwing to the plate, a fastball fouled off. So Chuck's ahead of this batter at no balls, 2 strikes. Oliva is a batting box manicurist. He is always moving his feet around, straightening out the dirt. He'll smooth it out for about a minute and then take another minute to dig a hole right where he's been smoothing. No balls, 2 strikes to count to him. Little hot dog wrapper just rolled out in front of the plate, and Oliva picked it up, put it in his left hip pocket. Dobson sets. Here's his pitch. Fastball bounced back to the mound. They've got a runner trapped on the way to third, and Carew is tagged out. Good play by Chuck Dobson. Carew trying to go off second towards third. He never did even slide. He was out so far. Dauber threw the ball to Bando, put the tag on. So there is a mighty big out for Dobson. And here's the big one, the big brew, Harmon Killebrew. There's an awesome bullseye target in the upper deck in left field here, representing about a 500-foot home run. And it's marked where Killebrew hit one. Readily recognizable when you come into the ballpark. The seats out there are green and blue, and they painted a big orange and white bullseye to indicate where he hit one. Oliva at first base. Here's Here's a pitch to Killebrew. Curveball high and inside. Ball 1.
Looks like Cyclops out there behind left field.
Killebrew hitting .316 for the year with 2 homers, 7 runs batted in. He's led the American League in home runs many times over. Oliva's got pretty good speed. They don't do a whole lot of running, however, with Killebrew on at the plate. Here's the pitch. Curveball hit on the ground. Bando to his left comes up with it. Goes the short route for the third out to Dick Green at second. The force coming down Oliva. So the A's turned in 2 good defensive plays here in this inning to keep a run down. So we go now to the end of the first inning with the score of the Oakland A's nothing and the Minnesota Twins nothing.
If you like to know where you stand when it comes to what you pay in automotive expenses, gasoline, for example, and the daily upkeep of your car, well, here's an easy way. Get an Atlantic Richfield credit card, and you'll get a receipt with each purchase of gasoline and an itemized bill at the end of every month. Now, doesn't that sound better than playing a hit-and-miss operation with your family budget? Oh, and in addition, an Atlantic Richfield credit card lets you charge things like Hertz Rent-A-Car, hotel and motel rooms, and meals at good restaurants. So if you're planning a vacation trip or just a weekend drive, you'll want to take along this handy little card instead of all that cash. Now, why not stop by Richfield Service Station today and pick up an application? With an Atlantic Richfield credit card, you always know where you stand. Buddy?
Dean Chance pitches now into the top half of the second inning against Sal Bando, Danny Cater, and Dick Green, for whom Happy Birthday was just played. Dick is 28 years old today. Dick grew up not too far away from here, up north in Rapid City, South Dakota. Here's Sal Bando coming on now. Sal's batting .308. He was stopped in the first game of yesterday's doubleheader without a hit. He had an 8-game hitting streak. At that time, it was the second game of the doubleheader. He had 2 hits in the first game. So Sal, .308, he's got 2 home runs, has knocked in 6 runs. Here's Dean Chance winding and pitching. Low and away, ball 1. John Roseboro behind the plate for the Twins. He did not play in the only other game the A's met Minnesota. That was in Oakland for an afternoon game last Tuesday. 1-0 pitch. That's fastball inside. 2 balls, no strikes. Bando yesterday had a double. He's got 2 doubles. He had them both in Kansas City, almost in the identical same spot. He came to the plate with a chance to break the game wide open in that second game, and so did Cater and Green, and none of them could come through as the Kansas City pitchers got pretty tough. It was Mo Drabowski in that particular instance, and then the Royals went on to win. The A's fought from behind yesterday 4-0. That pitch is outside, ball 3. 3-0 delivery to Bando is down the middle, called strike. Bando has received 7 bases on balls this year. He's batting cleanup for the A's. 3-1 pitch. Swing, and he fouls it off. So it's full count of 3 balls, 2 strikes. You can really look down on this field and tell where the football bleachers were this year. They play professional football in here, and they've had to resod it all, and it's not quite the same color. 3-2 pitch. Bando takes inside, ball 4, and Chance loses a man to start the second inning. So Bando has been the most walked man the A's have. Here comes Danny Cater to the plate. Danny hitting .317. He's hit in every game the A's have had except 3. Had 1 hit in each of yesterday's games of the doubleheader, but went 2 for 9 for the day. Danny has 4 runs batted in. There's no score. We're in the top of the second. Happy to have you with us today. Here's the pitch to Cater. Curve high, ball 1. The Twins have 2 different lineups they use. One against right-hand pitching, one against left. Against the right-handers, Harmon Killebrew plays third base, and Rich Reese first. Against left-handers, Reese is out of the lineup, and Killebrew moves over to first base. Dean Chance turns and lobs the ball slowly back over to first. Dean has a lot of leg and body motion on his delivery to the plate. He's pretty easy to run on once in a while. 1-0 pitch. Cater swings through a fastball. It's 1-1 now. Johnny McNamara flashing a bunch of signs out to Cater and across to Bando. 35-mile-an-hour wind whipping out across the diamond here in Minnesota this afternoon. Here's the pitch. Hader hits one off the glove of the pitcher near second. Cardenas gets it, steps on second for one, throws to first for a double play. Danny Cater hits into a double play. It hit off the glove of the pitcher, Dean Chance, and that's the only thing that kept the ball from going out into center field for what would have been a base hit. So now they're 2 down and nobody on, and the batter is Dick Green. Green had a big day yesterday in Kansas City. His batting average is now at .386. He's had 17 hits and 44 at-bats. Pitch to him, inside and high, ball one. Green leads the A's and runs batted in with 10. And he was at that plate with a lot of men on yesterday. He could have added a lot to that. 1-0 pitch, inside, ball two. Dick had 2 triples in the first game yesterday and knocked in 3 runs for the A's, and it was his triple off Dave Wickersham knocking in 2 that just knocked that first ball game out of whack. 2-0 pitch. He started to swing, and he did. The plate umpire said, I didn't see it, and he asked for help from the first base umpire, and Larry Barnett, the umpire over there, says, yes, he did. So there's a little teamwork on the part of the umpires. It's now 2 balls and 1 strike. Here's Chance pitching. That's low, ball 3. Chico Cardenas, shortstop for the Minnesota Twins, a big addition to their ball club this year. Here's a pitch to Green, and he fouls it off, strike 2. The Twins last year definitely had a hole in their defense at shortstop. They played Jackie Hernandez and a fellow by the name of Rennick, and just about everybody else. Tovar played there some. Clark played there. They never could find a shortstop. During the winter, Calvin Griffith found one. A 2-time All-Star shortstop in the National League. Cardenas gave up a left-handed pitcher for him. Here's a payoff pitch to Green. Fastball swung on and missed, strike 3, and Dean Chance still is not allowed a base hit as he goes through 2 innings. Against Oakland, the score after an inning and a half is 0-0.
Fill up your free moments with middle-of-the-day adventure. Fill up with Richfield Imperial Boron, because in your life, you have many roads you have to travel. And only a few afternoons between duty and decision to be free. To be free to do some secret, silly thing. To go off by yourself and find a hidden beach. Find a woods or a cove or a path where you can jog or turn cartwheels with no one gawking. Give yourself a middle-of-the-day adventure. Go for that long drive with the very mad, impetuous fuel, Richfield Imperial Boron, with extra miles in every tank full. Extra miles to help you live a little extra. Richfield Imperial Boron, because in your life, you have many roads you have to travel.
We go into the last half of the second inning now, and up for the Minnesota Twins is Greg Nettles, a real good-looking young outfielder. He is from San Diego, California, and last year at Denver in AAA ball, he had 22 home runs. Joined the Twins late in the season. He had 5 up here in just a short time, and had 83 runs batted in at Denver with a .297 batting average. So Greg Nettles, who played for Billy Martin last year, and twice was the home run leader in the Pacific Coast League in 2 different years, comes on. He's a left-handed batter. Against Chuck Dobson, he stands in, and here's the first pitch. Curve dropped in there for a called strike. Nettles hitting .250 with 1 homer so far for Minnesota. No score in our game. Here's the wind and the pitch. Curveball. It's over, but apparently a little low. Ball 1. We'll be at the same stand for 4 afternoons in a row. Unusual to have 4 straight day games, but this time of year in Minnesota, you don't play at night. Here's a 1-0-1 pitch. Curve. And it's a little high. Ball 2. Dobson has thrown 3 overhanded curveballs to this left-hand batter. Two balls, 1 strike. Dobson and Pagliarone taking a while to get together. Now they are. Here's the pitch. A check swing, pop fly ball out into short center. Dick Green going back for it, and he's got it. And they got Nettles. There's one out of the second, and here is Rich Reese, left-handed batting first baseman, who hit a home run that beat the A's out in Oakland recently. The only home run he's hit this year so far. He's batting .241. Reese played first base for the Twins last year in the last half of the season after Harmon Killebrew was derricked in the All-Star game with a badly pulled hamstring muscle. He did such a good job that Billy Martin decided this year to put Reese in that lineup as much as he could against right-handers. The fastball low and away, ball one. There's no score. There's been only one hit in the game, a double by Rod Carew in the first inning. There was almost another one. The only thing that kept it from being a hit was a sensational diving catch by Tommy Reynolds. The fastball through there, called strike to Reese. It's 1-1. Only one other game in the American League today, and that one is all over. The Boston Red Sox and the New York Yankees. The Yankees won it today over the Red Sox 6-4. Fastball to Reese is outside, 2-1. Thompson has thrown this guy so far nothing but smoke. Big Chuck rears back and throws a curveball hit on the ground to the shortstop side. Campaneris charges full speed, comes up with it, and takes his man out. 2 down. Now here's Leo Cardenas, the shortstop of the Minnesota Twins, and this guy's on a hot hitting streak, too. He's hit safely in 6 games in a row now. Starting this game, they had some guys who were hot. Oliva had hit safely in 8 in a row. Killebrew and Cardenas had hit in 6 in a row. Cardenas is batting right now for the Twins .282. If he hits anywhere close to that, with his defensive addition, these Twins are going to be a much, much tougher ball club than they were last year. Matter of fact, the way they have other people who hit, this guy doesn't have to hit a whole lot. Magliarone gives the sign to Chuck Dobson. Here's the pitch. Low and outside, ball 1. The A's on a long road trip. Play here 4 days, then up in Seattle for 3, and then down into California for 2 at Anaheim. Curveball is low and inside, 2-0. Next home game will not be until May the 2nd. For the A's. That starts the weekend against Seattle. 2-0 pitch. Low. It's 3 balls and no strikes. Leo Cardenas, the shortstop. To be followed by John Roseboro. 2 outs, second inning. There's no score. Divers 3-0 pitch. Hits the middle, call strike. 3-1 pitch coming down. Bouncing ball to short. Big hop up for Campaneris. And it's 3 up, 3 down inning as Campy goes Skater on the throw. After 2 innings of play here at the Met Stadium in Minnesota, it's the A's and the Twins. 0-0.
Richfield has a new disappearing act. Now you see it. Now you don't. You see us when you need us. To fill up your tank with Imperial Boron. Check your tires. Or battery. Or oil and water. Or replace a winking headlight. Otherwise, you don't see us. Richfield planned it that way. With buildings and shrubs that make Richfield stations blend into the neighborhood. It all goes to prove you don't have to be ugly to be good. Atlantic Richfield Company.
Well, it's Rick Monday to lead it off down the 3rd inning for the A's. Rick, yesterday, crashed the longest home run he's ever hit, certainly, and one of the longest ever hit at Municipal Stadium in Kansas City as he and Jackson went for the tape yesterday down in Kansas City on Monday had that hit and one more to snap out of a 0 for 19 streak. Rick now's batting 111 with one homer. He has 3 runs batted in.
I do believe it started to sprinkle rain, Mr. Moore.
People are moving around a little bit for some reason out in the stands. Well, it's kind of cloudy here. I don't think they're expecting too much rain today. We've had sunshine off and on, and the wind is strong enough that it could be rainy 30 miles from here, and it'd only take an hour to get here. It's been blowing 35 miles an hour out of the northwest. Dean Chance completing his warm-up tosses. This guy in 1967 had quite a year here for the Twins. He pitched 2 no-hitters that year. Dean was about to hold out. He had declared during his contract negotiation with the Minnesota Twins that they didn't come up with another $5,000, I believe they said it was, that they would that he would hold out this year, wouldn't even play baseball, would get out of the game. And some benefactor, some friend of his, a business friend of his from somewhere, came up with the idea that he wanted Chance to be in baseball. He felt that Dean was of more value in baseball than out of baseball, which has got to be the case if you're depending on a man for his reputation. So the guy paid Chance the $5,000 himself right out of his own pocket to get Chance to come into the game. So in one of the most unusual bits of contract negotiation that's ever happened in baseball. Right now, I believe they're waiting for the lights to be turned on. It's gotten pretty dark here. And in a quick count all around, I see the Twins have 9 players on the field. Monday's ready to bat. They've got 4 umpires. But they're waiting on the lights to be turned on here at the Met Stadium. Some of the natives are getting a little bit restless. Hey, we'd like to remind you of something that's be coming up on the A's next homestand, May 10th, of course, is Bat Day at the Oakland Coliseum. All the youngsters should keep in mind that that is Bat Day. Well, now we're going to play ball. They've just given me the sign for a station break. We'll have to wait, men, until after Monday bats. All right, here's Dean Chance whining and pitching to Rick Monday. Rick lands one to right field. He hits it pretty well down the line, and it's curving, foul ball. Rick Monday yanked one foul down the line in right. While they're chasing that one, let's pause for station identification. This is the Oakland A's Baseball Network.
The Good Life is here on KNBR Radio, the big one in San Francisco. $1,408 in the cash call jackpot.
No balls, 1 strike to count on Rick Monday, the A's center fielder. Here comes the sunshine back out again. Chance throws. Monday takes a slider for a called strike right at the knees. And this, the 3rd inning, it'll be Monday, Pagliarone, and Dobson. The A's have not had a hit as yet off Chance. Here's his 0-2 delivery. High, ball 1. Here's a 1-2 pitch. Monday hits a ground ball to short. Cardenas has him play perfectly near second, throws him out. So there's one away here in the 3rd inning. And that brings up Jim Pagliarone, the A's catcher. Pag's been up 17 times this year, has 3 hits, one of them a homer. Batting average right now is 176. Fast-working Dean Chance on the mound, goes to the wind and delivers. Pagliarone hits a ground ball left side of the infield, right at the shortstop. And he throws him out. There are 2 down here in the 3rd inning. Chance is having an easy go of it so far here against the A's. Here is the pitcher, Chuck Dobson. Chance has been in only 1 game, oddly enough, for the Twins this year.
were discovered to contain large amounts of DDT. The Secretary announced he will set an interim maximum safe level for DDT in fish while awaiting the study's results. Finch said the Agriculture Department has the responsibility for banning or limiting DDT if the HEW study shows it is harmful in any amount. Ron Nesson, NBC News, Washington.
Secretary of State William Rogers told an Associated Press luncheon in New York the obvious first step to get the Paris peace talks moving is for both North Vietnam and the United States to start simultaneous withdrawal of forces in South Vietnam.
Very short one indeed. For the A's, 3 up and 3 down. The score now in the middle of the third. The A's and the Twins, 0-0.
It's the same old story every week. Monday through Friday, up by 7, off to work by 8. And after a seemingly endless bumper-to-bumper drive on the freeway, you're at the office by 9 o'clock. Then around 5 or perhaps 5:30, you go through the process again, only this time it's in reverse. This weekend, why not escape the old routine and head off for the country where you can enjoy the uncity-like display of scenery, where you can relax in the freedom of country surroundings. Fill up with Richfield Imperial Boron, the mad impetuous fuel that can't wait to get you places, where you can live a little extra, where you can spend some time with yourself thinking about things. Now, if you're tired of the same old story, we suggest you fill up with a mad impetuous fuel, Richfield Imperial Boron. It gives you extra miles at every tank full, extra miles that help you get out to the country where you can have fun living a little extra. Atlantic Richfield Company.
Go down to Johnny Roseboro. Starting the last half of the third inning, there's a gale-like wind blowing here in Minnesota right now. Temperature, they said at game time, was 64 degrees, but that wind drives it down to where it's more like 44, I think. Roseboro, left-handed batting catcher, hitting .400. He's been up 15 times, has 6 hits. John didn't help the Twins very much the first half of last season, but he came on pretty strong with the bat in the second half of the season. Finally caught up with American League pitchers, as he didn't know them very well. Here's a pitch. It's inside and low, ball 1. With Roseboro and George Mitterwald, the Twins are pretty well equipped with catchers, a veteran and a youngster. 1-0 pitch. Strike called. It's 1-1. Roseboro hurt the A's last year quite a bit. He had some big hits knocking in runs. Curveball, beautiful pitch called, strike 2. 1 ball, 2 strikes on Roseboro. He'll be followed by Dean Chance and Ted Uhlaender here in the third. A scoreless game so far. Dauber fires a curveball, a check swing roller towards third. That's going to be a tough play. Bando picks it up barehanded, throws to first base, and it's not in time. John Roseboro gets a hit trying to get out of the way of a pitch. Uh-oh jobs down the third base line. Bando is playing over for the left-handed batter. Dobson made a real good pitch on him. Roseboro had been fooled badly, tried to back away, and the ball hit his bat. Rolled so slowly down the third base line, Bando didn't have a chance at him. So it's a leadoff single for Roseboro, bringing to the plate Dean Chance. And since Chance is not one of the world's greatest hitters, you got to look for a bunt right here. Charging the plate. Here's the pitch. It's taken low and outside, ball 1. A's once in a while will put on a play where they have the second baseman, Dick Green, charge the plate rather than the first baseman. It allows them to hold the runner on first a little longer. They just called Chance down for a little talk, possibly to say if that guy charges that way again, then try to hit it. Now, Green once in a while will fake coming in like that and then back up. Now Green's right up in his face next to the pitcher almost. Here's the pitch. Chance tried to punch it by him that time and missed it, strike 1. So that's exactly what they told him. If the second baseman comes in again, try to poke it by him. Diener's had a little trouble down through the years trying to make contact, let alone trying to guide it where he hits it. 1 ball, 1 strike. Green's right up there again. So is Bando. Here's the pitch. It's taken low, and Chance that time did not square around as though he wanted to bunt. 2 balls, 1 strike, nobody down. We're in the 3rd inning of the game. Roseboro leading away from first base. Here's a pitch. Chance takes low, ball 3, and Dobson's got to throw strikes to get this guy out. Or he'll find himself in a real jam. 2 on, and men at the top of that batting order coming up. Three balls, 1 strike. Here's the pitch. Ball 4. Dobson walks the chance. And that could only mean trouble. Lose a guy like Chance, you're giving him something, which they don't need to be given. Now here is Ted Uhlaender. Uhlaender hit that line drive in the left center field on which Tommy Reynolds made the great catch in the 1st inning. Well, that really changes things now. The Twins have runners at 1st and 2nd and nobody down in the top of the batting order up here. Uhlaender kept looking for his third base coach to give him a sign. Now, either was putting on a pretty good decoy or the coach didn't give him one. Chuck Dobson down to the stretch now. Here's the pitch. Curve high, ball 1. He showed no signs of a bunt that time. You've got the big guys coming up behind. Two balls, 1 strike, nobody down. We're in the 3rd inning of the game. Roseboro leading away from first base. Here's a pitch. Chance takes low, ball 3, and Dobson's got to throw strikes to get this guy out. Or he'll find himself in a real jam. 2 on, and men at the top of that batting order coming up. Three balls, 1 strike. Here's the pitch. Ball 4. That could only mean trouble. Lose a guy like Chance, you're giving him something, which they don't need to be given. Now here is Ted Uhlaender. Uhlaender hit that line drive in the left center field on which Tommy Reynolds made the great catch in the 1st inning. Well, that really changes things now. The Twins have runners at 1st and 2nd and nobody down in the top of the batting order up here. Uhlaender kept looking for his third base coach to give him a sign. He was putting on a pretty good decoy or the coach didn't give him one. Chuck Dobson down to the stretch now. Here's the pitch. Curve high, ball 1. He showed no signs of a bunt that time. You've got the big guys coming up behind. One ball, no strikes. There's a fastball fouled away. So Billy Martin's going for the big inning early here. The count. An inning started for the Twins by a check swing. Accidental base hit by Roseboro. Roseboro at second base now, and Chance at first. To Dobson's pitch. Uhlaender swings and fouls off a curve, strike 2. That was a real good pitch by Dobson then. It was right around the knees. So it's 1 ball, 2 strikes. Chuck Dobson checks up on the runner down at second, throws to the plate, a curveball, line to right field, a base hit. Reggie Jackson comes in on the ball, and they're going to hold the runner at third. Bases loaded, nobody down for Rod Carew. Ted Uhlaender rips one out into right field. Single, walk, and a single. Loaded the bases with nobody out, and here is Rod Carew, who doubled in the 1st inning. Johnny Gurl coming down from first base coaching box and talk to Carew here. Now the A's going to play their infield in this situation. From little things are big innings built. And this inning really had quite an accidental start. Dobson's going to stay in the stretch position here rather than winding up. The pitch, curve, high and outside, ball one. Twins have been hitting so hard of late. When you give them something, you're asking for it. Now Chuck's got a bear down. 1-0 pitch. That's a curve dropping in there for a strike. He has thrown so far mostly overhanded curveballs to Carew. He got ahead of him in the first inning doing the same thing. And then threw him a fastball right over the middle of the plate, and Carew doubled. Now the A's right-hander throws. There's a curve again, and it's fouled off. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Carew, I believe, broke a bat that time. He's going back for another one. The A's are playing their infield back, hoping for the double play. They would naturally like to go to the plate for 1. And then to first. But the big idea here is to play deep enough to knock any ground ball down to keep 2 runs from scoring in case it gets out there where they can't get the double play. Lando, the only infielder playing what you could call a shallow position. Dobson's 1-2 pitch. On the way. Curveball swung on and missed, strike 3. So he got Carew on the curveballs that he abandoned the first time up. This time stayed right with him and got him all the way. Now that's Dobson's first strikeout. It couldn't have come at a better time. Here is Tony Oliva. Tony was out on a bouncer to the third baseman. Actually hit into a fielder's choice force out his first time up today. Oliva uses that left foot with the spikes to dig himself a hole in the back part of the batter's box. Pitchers detest having to wait while he digs in on him up there, but he's been doing it since the first day he came in the American League. Dobson down to the belt. Checks up on the runners with a look. He's holding a long time. Now throws a curveball. Line into right. A base hit. Here's 1 run in to score. Jackson picks up that ball, and they're going to hold Dean Chance at third as Reggie comes back in with a line drive throw. It's 1-0 Minnesota. The hot-hitting Tony Oliva ripped 1 out into right, and now here's Harmon Killebrew with the bases loaded and still only 1 out. Dean Chance goes to third, Uhlaender to second base, and Oliva is on. He's hit safely in 9 games in a row. Got to be the best hitter in the American League. Now here's Harmon Killebrew, and the outfielders back up. On, and here's the pitch. Killebrew hits a ground ball through the middle into center. Base hit. That's going to score 2 more runs. Oliva on his way to third. Monday throwing the ball over there. It's going to be close. It hits Oliva in the back. Oliva's going to stay at third base as it caromed away. Sal Bando retraces or goes over towards the dugout, picks it up. But Oliva, who was hit by that thrown ball by Rick Monday, is safe at third base, but he is hurting. The ball hit him, I believe, somewhere up around the neck. Harmon Killebrew belted 1 up the middle. And the Twins now lead by a score of 3-0 with still only 1 out and runners at second and third. They ruled an error on Rick Monday on that throw, allowing Killebrew to go to second base on the play. You just can't give the Twins anything. It was obvious from the very first when the accidental base hit by Roseboro was followed when Dobson walked Chance. That set up the big inning for him because it brought the top of their lineup to the plate. They're still administering to Tony Oliva over there at third base. He was sliding into third when Monday's throw hit him. He's up on his feet now. He's all right. Martin and the Twins trainer were out there very quickly to check up on him. Well, Killebrew hit a ground ball, which if it would have been just a little bit to the left, could have been turned into an inning-ending double play easily, but he got it to the left of Campaneris. And out in the center field. Now there are runners at second and third, and the batter is Greg Nettles. Dobson's pitch, inside, ball one. 4 base hits and a walk have given the Twins 3 runs here in inning number 3. Pitch to Nettles is low and outside, ball 2. Hitting is a contagious thing in baseball. You'll see a team start hitting and 2 or 3 guys pop off, and then everybody starts hitting the ball, and the Twins have been in one of those hot hitting streaks their last 7 games. 2-0 pitch. Curveball dropped in there, strike 1. One strike. Runners from second and third lead. Here's the pitch. Fastball line into left center. Base hit. 2 more runs are going to come in to score. Reynolds picks the ball up. Nettles has knocked in 2 to make it a 5-0 ball game. And Chuck Dobson is getting belted around awfully hard here in the third inning. Five to nothing. Still only 1 out and a runner at first base. Left-handed batter. Plate. Dobson throws, and there's a fly ball foul out of play down the right field line. A 5-run third inning for the Twins, started by the bottom 2 men in their order. Jim Rowland is up out of the bullpen for Oakland. He's just now started throwing. For a ball that's 1-1. Nettles leading away at first. Dobson's taking so long to get his sign that Reese backs out away. As Reese gets in, Dobson backs off the mound. Five to nothing, Minnesota. Dean Chance going. It's early yet. The A's dropped behind 4-0 yesterday in Kansas City and caught up. Here's the pitch. Curve way outside, ball 2. Pitches 2-1 with the runner going. There's a bouncing ball to right field. Another base hit. Nettles round second on his way to third. Jackson throws the ball over there. It's too late. On the hit-run play, the Twins execute perfectly with the left-handed batting Reese drilling one out into right field. And the Twins now have wired together 4 consecutive base hits here in the third inning off Chuck Dobson. He loaded the base with nobody out, struck out Rod Carew, and hasn't retired anybody since. They've been hitting the ball hard. Here's the 9th man to come to bat in the inning. It's Leo Cardenas, shortstop. Runners at first and third base. Pitch. There's a fly ball into shallow right field. Jackson and Green both going out. Green turns around, makes the catch, and the runner at third's going to hold on. Also a runner at first. 2 out, and here is John Roseboro, whose accidental check swing base hit down the third base line started this whole 5-run inning. Bill Posdell yells coming out of the dugout now. I don't know if he's going to make a move right now or not. They've got Jim rolling. There's the motion. That's going to be all for Chuck Dobson. So Chuck was left in. He took quite a beating here in this third inning. The big thing was the walk to Dean Chance. When they were just trying for the bunt, all they wanted to do was get a man in scoring position. Then they walked Dean Chance, and that changed everything, because then they switched from the bunt to the hit and let Ted Uhlaender swing away, and he swung and got a single. And then that brought the big guys up, and that's all it takes for the Twins. The big guys come up there, and it's boom, boom city. We got a new pitcher coming on. It'll be Jim Rowland, the former Twin. Let's check up now and see what is happening otherwise in baseball today and tonight.
Well, there isn't very much happening, Monty. What has already happened has been in the American League, where the New York Yankees played the Boston Red Sox up at Boston before 35,190. Up at Fenway Park in Boston, the Yankees defeated the Boston Red Sox 6-4. For New York, 6 runs, 9 hits, and no errors. And for Boston, 4 runs, 11 hits, and 3 errors. Mel Stottlemyre went all the way to pitch the shutout for pitch the ball game for the New York Yankees. His record is now 4-0. And Stang was the losing pitcher for Boston. His record is now 1-2. Otherwise, in the American League, it'll be Seattle at Kansas City tonight. Cleveland will play at Baltimore, and Detroit will play at Washington. Over in the National League, it's a full bill of night fare. Philadelphia will be at New York with Woody Fryman going against New York's Gentry. Montreal plays at St. Louis. It'll be Jaster for Montreal and Ray Washburn for St. Louis. Cincinnati and Houston, it'll have Merritt on the mound for Cincinnati going against Blossingame of Houston. Atlanta plays at San Diego. It'll be Reed going for Atlanta against Kelly of San Diego. San Francisco plays at Los Angeles, and Juan Marichal will go for San Francisco against Singer for Los Angeles. So everything goes tonight. The only 2 ball games in Major League Baseball this afternoon, both in the American League. And again, repeating, the New York Yankees defeated Boston at Boston today 6-4. Now, this ball game right now is in the bottom half of inning number 3, and it's still going on with a 5-0 ball game in favor of the Twins over Oakland. And Jim Rowland has just come out on the mound to do the pitching now for the Oakland A's. Honey?
Rowland's been in only 2 games for the A's this year. He's going to be in the bullpen for Oakland. In the 2 games, he's pitched a total only 1 inning. As far as getting credit, he came into 1 game and was tagged for 3 earned runs. Basically, because he was wild, he walked a couple of batters and gave up 1 hit, and then the man who came on behind him as reliever gave up the hits that allowed those men to score. Now pitching to John Roseboro. Pitch to him is swung on and hit up into the air into right center field. Jackson and Mundy closing in on it, and as they move together, it's Mundy who makes the catch. So Rowland makes 1 pitch and gets out of the inning. In the third for the Twins, 5 runs, 6 hits. There are no errors and 2 left on. After 3 innings of play, the score is the Twins 5 and the A's nothing.
Back in the Old West, an ace in the hole was a man's ticket to a big win or a shootout on Main Street. Today in the New West, the ace in the hole is your ticket to live a little extra. It's the getaway card. It's traveler's aid when you need it. It's an Atlantic Richfield credit card that's good for all kinds of things. Gasoline, oil, tires, batteries, accessories at over 70,000 service stations coast to coast, and more. It's good for motels and meals. Rent a car. Put a whole vacation trip on it and pay in monthly installments. An Atlantic Richfield credit card. A real ace in the hole. Why don't you keep one up your sleeve? Atlantic Richfield Company.
Well, the score is 5-0 Minnesota. Happy Campanera starts it all over. The A's have not had a hit off Dean Chance, so it's a long, hard job ahead. Here's Al Helper.
Kathy Campaneris standing just outside of batter's box, waiting now for the last throw down from the mound. Dean Chance fires it down there, and he's about ready to go. Campaneris has struck out in the ball game. He's only time up the plate. That was in the first inning. He'll be followed by Tommy Reynolds and then by Reggie Jackson. Needless to say, Dean Chance has been about as tough a soul leather here this afternoon. Only one base runner for the Oakland A's. That was the leadoff man, Bando, in the second inning as a result of a walk. And then he was erased a moment later when Cater hit into a double play. No base hits off Dean Chance. Big right-hander delivers the fastball, swung on and laced out in the center field. Coming on for it is Uhlaender. Makes the catch running in, and we have one out. One away in the top half of inning number 4, and the batter now is Tommy Reynolds. Reynolds moving up to the plate, has a ground out to his credit so far today. Hit the ball on the ground shortstop, and Leo Cardenas threw him out. Dean Chance, with that herky-jerk motion of his, rocks back into position, twists and throws over the top of the curveball in there for the strike. Tommy Reynolds count, no balls and 1 strike. Top half inning number 4. Pitch, Reynolds swings on a curve and doesn't get it. No balls, 2 strikes. Count on Tommy Reynolds. Reggie Jackson hanging around to be the next hitter. 5 runs, 7 hits for the Twins. They've committed no errors. No runs, no hits. 1 error committed by the A's. Pitch to Tommy Reynolds a little high. His count now is 1 ball and 2 strikes. Roseboro pops that mid up as a target. Dean Chance works toward it on a slow curveball, and it's taken on a check swing. 1 ball, 2 strike count on Tommy Reynolds. He beats the meat end of the bat down on the rubber of home plate and digs in. 1-2 delivery by Chance. Swung on by Reynolds, hit down across the carpet to shortstop. Cardenas digs it out, throws low to first base, but Reese comes up with it. And that's all for Reynolds. 2 up, 2 out here in the top half of inning number 4. Batter coming up now will be Reggie Jackson. Jackson at game time was batting at 139 with a pair of home runs and a real tape measure job he hit at Kansas City yesterday. Came up in the first inning and retired to side with a fly ball to center field to Uhlaender. That wind is still blowing out toward center and left center field. Perhaps not as stiffly as it was at the beginning of the game, but it's still there. Curveball dropped in there for the strike, and the count on Jackson now is no balls and 1 strike. 2 down, no base runners, top of the 4th inning, and the Twins are leading this first game of a 4-game series by the score of 5-0. Chance delivers high and outside. 1 ball, 1 strike to count on Reggie Jackson. We had bright, brilliant sunlight to start this afternoon. Then it clouded up. We got some sprinkle. Pitch is swung on by Jackson. He misses. That's strike 2. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Then that little rain squall passed. Bright sunlight came out again. And now we've got the clouds. So we expect we'll have this all afternoon. 1-2 delivery to Jackson. High and away to a left-handed batter. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Nobody on, top half of the 4th inning. On deck to go next, if Jackson saves him a time at it, is Bando. Chance's pitch is on the inside, right up against Jackson's knees. Full count now, 3 balls and 2 strikes. Jackson wants plate umpire Jim Odom to look at this baseball, and he does, and throws it out of play. Chance grinding up a new one, goes up and kicks him out of his spikes on the rubber pitcher's hill. Now he's ready to go. Roseboro's got the mid up. Here's the 3-2 delivery. Swung on and hit slowly down to second base. Up with it is Rod Carew. Snaps the throw over to first base just in time to Reese, and they've got Jackson. So 3 up, 3 down here. As again, the A's go quietly. It's the 4th inning in which they have gone quietly. Score at the end of 3.5 innings of play. It is Minnesota 5 and Oakland nothing.
How would you like to get out one of these nights and take in an Oakland A's ball game? Get the family together and come on out to the ballpark. Enjoy the excitement, the chatter of the crowd, the hot dogs, peanuts, popcorn, $1 million scoreboard at the Coliseum in Oakland. Sound like a good idea, doesn't it? But now, before you do, you'll want to know who's playing, when, and where. And all the answers are found in the official 1969 Oakland A's schedule card, available free at all Richfield service stations. All you have to do is stop by and pick one up, and you'll have an accurate listing of opponents and when and where the games will be played. And while you're at it, you'll want to fill your tank with the gasoline that will get you there. Richfield Imperial Boron gasoline, the big mileage maker, with extra mileage in every tank full. Extra mileage to help you live a little extra at an Oakland A's ball game. So why not get out and play ball at an Oakland A's baseball game? Stop by a Richfield station and pick up one of those Oakland A's official schedule cards. It fits right in your wallet. We'll see you at the ball game.
In the last half of the fourth inning, the first man up will be right-handed batting Dean Chance. 10 men came to the plate in the big third inning for the Minnesota Twins, in which they picked up 5 runs. Jim Rowland, the left-hander, former Minnesota Twin left-hander, makes the first pitch to Chance, fastball, low and outside, ball 1. Chance drew a walk, trying to sacrifice Roseboro along. Starting that fifth inning, he tries to bunt this pitch and foul tips it. 1 ball and 1 strike. Twins got off to a rather weak and sort of shaky start in that fifth inning, but they roared out like a lion. The pitch is bunted this time by Chance down the first base line. It's too short for Danny Kaner to make a play on it. But we've got the rain coming down again now. It's coming down pretty good. We're in the last half, inning number 4. And it's raining so hard right now that there's a possible chance that they might halt this affair. Chance swings on the next Jim Rowland offering, misses, strike 3. So 1 out here in the last half, inning number 4. So they'll try to hurry along and get the top half of this fifth inning in. That is the Minnesota Twins here. Batting left-handed is Ted Uhlaender. He has 1 hit in 2 times up and has scored a run. Last time out, he singled to right field. Left-handed batter takes a pitch under the knees. That'll be ball 1. We might have a lot of rain going on now, but we've also got sunshine. Sidearm delivery. Uhlaender checks up on the swing, goes just about halfway. Takes ball 2. Outfield playing just about straight away for Uhlaender. Right side of the infield deep, and Bando shallowed up at third base. Big hole in the outfield is the power alley in right center. Pitch right across the middle, knee high. 2 balls and 1 strike. Still raining here at Bloomington, Minnesota, Metropolitan Stadium. Folks have gone back to seek the overhang in the stands. Get out of it. There's the crossfire. It's a little bit high to a left-handed batter. 3 balls and 1 strike. Throw now has gotten behind Uhlaender. 1 out, nobody on. Back half of the 4th inning. Twins are leading at 5-0 by virtue of a 5-run uprising in the 3rd inning. There's a fastball fired in there for the strike. So it's a 3-2 count now as Rowland works along on his former teammate Ted Uhlaender. We've still got that wind kicking around here. Let up pitch, low, below the knees. That'll be ball 4. So with 1 out, Rowland coughs up the base on balls. That's the second Twin to capture first base by the walk route. Now hitting left-handed is Rod Carew. Game time, he was batting at .389. He doubled to right center field in the first inning. Struck out in the 3rd. Rowland works to him, and the pitch is swung at and missed for strike 1. Carew sort of tommyhawked at that pitch. Actually, I think it fooled him a little and gotten by him. No ball, 1 strike count. Uhlaender at first base. Cater on the corner. There's the pitch to the plate, swung on and missed. Rowland bending that about 3/4 overhand. No balls and 2 strikes. This young fella out on the mound right now would like nothing better than be able to set his former teammates down. Just 1, 2, 3 as they come up. No balls and 2 strikes. A count on Rod Carew. 1 out, 1 on. Pitch with the runner breaking is swung on. The outside pitch is dumped foul off the third base side back into the crowd. Thank you, Tom. No balls, 2 strikes. Riding right along on Rod Carew. Jim Rowland getting his sign from Pagliarone. We're in the bottom half, inning number 4. No ball, 2 strike count. Left-handed batting, second baseman Rod Carew. Uhlaender, the runner at first, draws a throw. That's not in time. Cater's got that ball back to the mound now to left-hander Jim Rowland. Carew waiting. There's a pitch to him, swung on, and a high pop foul. Spins back to the stands, off to the left of home plate. Well, the count stays 0-2. Well, the rain rain clouds have gone over. The sun has popped back out again, and the rain has stopped. But it was really belting down here just a minute or two ago. Rowan comes set. Delivers the plate. Pitch is swung on a miss. Strike three. Curveball in there right under the leathers. Well, Peru goes down swinging. That's the second strikeout for Roland. Both of them coming here in this inning. Tony Oliva's the batter. Left-handed hitting right fielder. Has driven in one of the 5 runs for Minnesota today. Got a single to right field in the 3rd inning. Drove in Roseboro. He's on second base at the time. Pitch to the plate, swung on. Up back foul. It also spins to the stands out of play. No ball, 1 strike count on Oliva. At game time, batting at .391 with 3 home runs for the Twins. He has a total now of 9 runs batted in. Slender left-hand hitter, spreads out in batter's box. Backs off from a leather pitch right in by the chin. 1 ball and 1 strike. Uhlaender, who after Chance struck out, walked, is still on the first base. Carew having struck out. The second out for the Twins. We have Oliva up there now swinging. He does right now and dumps the pitch foul out over third base. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Oliva's count. Oliva gets on. We'll have the big guy, Harmon Killebrew, up there. Roland looks over at first base, checks his runner, throws a side armor to the plate that's ripped right down on 1 hop to Danny Cater. Nice backhand stab by Danny. He's up with it, steps on first base, and that's all. Well, Oliva is robbed of a base hit ticketed for right field. No runs with no hits in the inning of Roland. He did walk a man, so that left 1 on for the Twins. They're 4th to be stranded today, and the score at the end of 4 innings. It's Minnesota 5, and Oakland has nothing. Started now in the top half, inning number 5 with Bando the batter. Let's pause quickly for station identification. This is the Oakland A's Baseball Network.
This is the place, KNBR in San Francisco. $1,408 in the cash call jackpot, 56 degrees.
Bando hitting at 308. Chance sends the first pitch in there, let up, and it's low outside for ball 1. Bando came up in the 2nd inning and walked. As a matter of fact, he's been the only base runner the A's have had all afternoon. This Chance is pitching a no-hitter. It's a swung on. There's a bounding ball to Killebrew at 3rd. He hustles his throw across to first base to reach, and Bando is down. We're in the top half of the 5th inning. Dean Chance hasn't allowed a base hit to the Oakland A's. He's already pitched a pair of no-hitters. He's working on run right now. Danny Cater hit into a double play back in the 2nd inning when after Bando had led off with a walk. Danny at game time batting at .317. Chance rocks back, comes over the top with a fast pitch. It's right under the chin to Cater, and he leans back and takes it for ball 1. The outfield playing slightly fanned around to right. The big hole in the outfield is the power alley in left center for Danny. Chance comes 3/4 overhand, and Danny pounds one out into right field. Coming on for it is Oliva over near the foul line. Right at the foul line makes the catch. Oh, Cater's out. Fly ball to right field. That's the 2nd out here in the top half, inning number 5, and rather a minimum of effort on the part of Dean Chance. Here's Dick Green. Green struck out in the second inning to retire the side. One of the 2 strikeout victims of Chance. Who right now works to him. He drops a curve in there for the strike. This man has pitched 4 2/3 innings, Dean Chance, and hasn't allowed a base hit to the Oakland A's. I guess you'd call it pretty tough pitching. There's the fastball in there for the strike. No balls, 2 strikes to count on Dick Green. Monday to follow should Green get on. Minnesota Twins scored their 5 runs in the third when the roof fell in on Chuck Dobson. Chance delivers. Green starts to lean and then takes the snuffed-off curveball outside. 1 ball and 2 strikes. This guy Chance got quite an assortment of pitches. He'll give you a little of this and a little of that. No, most all of it breaks, as this pitch does, and Green fouls it right back below us. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Count on Dick Green. I tell you, it's something the way the fans go for baseball. The guy down there just about ruined a real fine suit, diving in on the concrete. He's got to have scuffed it up someplace. Chance with a lot of pitch right off Greeny's chest, inside ball 2. 2 balls and 2 strikes on Dick Green. And 2 strikes. That's the count on Dick Green. Dean Chance kicking the mud out of his spikes on the rubber pitcher's mound. Now leans forward, gets his sign from Johnny Hillsborough. Whistles the next pitch in there. Green takes. Called strike 3. Dropped it right in under the letters. So that's it here in the top half of inning number 5. Nothing across for the Oakland A's. And the score at the end of 4.5 innings of play remains Minnesota 5 and Oakland nothing.
Like a little more luxury in a low-priced car, if you thought you could swing it, see one of us Pontiac dealers this week and ask about the Pontiac Le Mans for 1969. Le Mans has it all, and you can get it at a price so low, well, believe me, you can swing it. Think of it. Think of the wide track ride. Think of the sleek look. And you can pick one up right now with the options you want. Things like power steering, power brakes, turbo hydromatic transmission, and lots more. Count on a great trade-in, too. How come? It's all part of the breakaway deals we're making right now on all our new 1969 Pontiac. So come on in and check out a Le Mans breakaway deal. You can swing a lot more luxury than you think.
Half of inning number 5 now. Twins will send up to bat first Harmon Killebrew, their third baseman, batting number 4 in the order. Harmon Killebrew hit one up the middle and drove in a couple of runs back in the 3rd inning. Big, powerful guy. He can hit that ball a country mile. Way of home runs this year, Killebrew has hit 2. He was hitting a .316 at game time. But now he's facing left-hander Jim Rowland, former teammate. Rolling over the top with a pitch that's outside, about waist high, as the rain starts down again. The sun is shining, but we have rain. Not a lot of it, but it's falling. Rolling back to the plate with a fastball, and that misses just outside, about waist high. 2 ball, no strike count on Killebrew. Rowland will keep that ball away from Harmon to keep him from pulling it. Comes over the top this time with a fastball, and again misses just outside, about knee high, for ball 3. Outfield fan around the left and playing very deep for Killebrew. Tom Reynolds back almost on the warning track in dead left. 3-0 delivery. Outside by a good shade. Ball 4. Well, Killebrew on 4 pitches is walked. That'll be the second base on ball, surrendered by Rowland. The third Minnesota Twin to be put on by the free ticket. That brings on Greg Nettles, who came up at the tail end of last year and showed very well for the Minnesota Twins. He played most of his 1968 season at Denver. Greg Nettles, .250 hitter at game time with 1 home run, has driven in a pair of runs here this afternoon with a single to left center field back in the 3rd inning. Stands just off the plate with a straightaway stance to the pitcher. Bats him left-handed. Squares off and bunts the ball down the first base side. Cater comes in, fields the ball, tags the runner going by. The sacrifice works, and Killebrew moves down to second base. So, Billy Martin is not content. By any matter means, with the number of runs he has up on the board and the way his pitcher is going, he wants another one. Well, they got Killebrew in scoring position now down at the Keystone. Here is Reese coming to bat, left-handed hitting first baseman. Reese had a single in the big uprising in the third inning. He did not score, nor did he knock in a run. But he can knock in one now with Killebrew at second. Swings on the first pitch and doesn't get it. Jim Rowland offered him the crossfire that time. Reese liked it. 241 hitter. Reese, one of the 6 left-handers in the lineup today for the Minnesota Twins. Chokes up a little on the handle of the bat. Killebrew leads off at second base. Rowland pitches. Slider, and it swung on and missed for a strike. No balls and 2 strikes now. The count on Reese. He'll be followed by Leo Cardenas, the shortstop. Goro, coaching at first base for the Minnesota Twins, yells something at Reese, catches attention. Now Reese digs back in at the plate. Roman, a check of the runner back over the left shoulder. Comes in with a sidearm pitch, a trip foul right past Johnny Gurl, the coach at first base. No balls and 2 strikes. Count on Rich Reese. Not only are we playing hide and seek with the sunshine today, but we're also playing hide and seek with the raindrops. Slacked off now and is just sort of misty. The 0-2 delivery. Down it rides, swung on and missed, strike 3. So there's the second out now in the 5th inning, and for Rowland, that'll be his 3rd strikeout. The batter now is Leo Cardenas, right-hand hitting shortstop. He's like a ghost on that diamond. He glides all over the short field. Game time was batting at .282. And should he rip the ball in that manner for the rest of the year for the Twins, going to give them a little extra added punch. They're going to put him on intentionally. They're not going to monkey around with him. They're going to pitch to Roseboro. So there'll be an intentional base on balls given to Cardenas. That'll be the 3rd base on balls given up by Rowland. He's just pitched ball 2. Will pitch ball 3 and 4 very wide. They'll put Cardenas on. There's ball 3. Ball 4 will be coming in just a moment. We've lost the sunshine completely now. It's rather gray and overcast overhead. Ball 4 putting Cardenas on with an intentional walk. Killebrew is on at second base. He walked. Neville sacrificed him down there. Then Reese struck out. Now Cardenas is given a free ticket to first base. That'll make a play anywhere for the Oakland A's. There are 2 down here in the back half of the 5th inning. John Roseboro has got an accidental base hit down the 3rd base side his last time up. Swings on this pitch. Dumps a foul ball out of play off the left field line. That goes into the stands. I guess the most surprised guy was Roseboro when he got his single down the 3rd base side in the 3rd inning. He had been completely fooled on a pitch. Tried to get out of the way of it, fell away from it. The ball hit the bat, and so it dribbled down the 3rd base side, and Bando was playing a little too deep to be able to pick it up and throw him out. Pitch swung on by Roseboro. There's a long drive deep in the right field. Reggie Jackson going back for the fence, leaps up and hauls it in as he bounces into the fence. Oh, that's all. Roseboro drives Jackson to the wall in right field. But Reggie stayed right with it and hauled her down for the catch. Oh, there were no runs. There were no hits in the inning. 2 walks left 2 men on. There were no errors. And the score at the end of 5 full innings of play. Minnesota 5 and Oakland nothing.
And now, out of KNBR's Baseball Hall of Fame steps Dave Niles.
Hi, Frank Dill.
Dave, what in the world would you be doing in the KNBR Baseball Hall of Fame?
Well, somebody's got to empty the ashtrays and...
Oh, yeah, that's true.
and dust the pictures and sweep the floor. And once a week, I put new paper in the...
No, wait a minute, Dave. Wait a minute. I had to ask that, didn't I? Yeah.
But let's talk about baseball, Frank.
All right, Dave. I've got another baseball quiz for you to help you learn the game better.
Ask me anything.
What do ball players do during the off-season?
Gain weight?
Well, never mind. Here's the next question. What happens to the last man in the showers?
He shivers.
He shivers. Why?
All the hot water's gone.
Oh, boy. Try this one. What happens when an enraged player belts the poor umpire right in the nose?
It bleeds. Anybody knows that. Haven't you ever had a...
This is your last chance, Dave. Hurry up. Who's the Athletics' biggest star?
Oh, that's an easy one. Jim Nash. He weighs 215 pounds.
Back to the ball game.
Now for the start of the sixth inning. In the top half of the sixth inning, Rick Mundy and Pagliarone, and then Roland bats. Rick Mundy coming up to the plate. He grounded out in the third inning from the shortstop Cardenas to the first baseman Reese. So Rick Mundy is 0 for 1 today. And again, we repeat, we're going into the sixth inning. Dean Chance has not allowed the Oakland A's a base hit. So, in the honesty of fair reporting, to tell you that this guy is spinning one right now. He pitches to Rick Mundy. The curve is high and outside for ball one. No runs, no hits, 1 error for Oakland. For the Twins, 5 runs, 7 hits, and no errors. Rick Mundy stepping back up to the plate as the wind is really whipping a lot of dust and sand around right now. Chance delivers. The pitch is swung on by Rick Mundy. There's a line shot into the corner in left field. There'll be no no-hitter for him today. Rick Mundy digging for second base. He'll make it standing up with a double. So Rick Mundy's double here in the top half of the sixth inning ruins a no-hitter for Dean Chance. Rick hit that ball just where it was pitched, right on the outside, and he drilled it over the third baseman's head into the left field corner. Oh, hit number 1 now for the Oakland A's in the top half of the sixth inning. That brings on Jim Pagliarone. That wind is really whipping out now toward center field. The clouds right now are rather low-hanging, and there's a lot of dust being blown up out back of left and center field. It is not raining right now. Chance looks back at second at Rick Mundy, delivers the plate. Pagliarone swings and hits a bounding ball foul outside of third base. Left and center field. It is not raining right now. Chance looks back at second at Rick Mundy, delivers the plate. Pagliarone swings and hits a bounding ball foul outside of third base. Dean Chance gets a new one to work with. Kicking around out behind the mound. Rick Mundy ruined the no-hitter for Dean Chance here after Dean had pitched 5 full innings. And only one man had gotten to first base, and that was Bando on a walk back in the second inning. And Rick Mundy took care of it all here in the sixth inning as the leadoff man, sending a line shot double into the left field corner. Chance delivers. The pitch is swung on by Pag and popped up back for second base, going out into right center field. Coming on for it is the right fielder Oliva, and the wind blows the ball right out of his mitt. Got his mitt on it all right, but it bent right out of his mitt. He dropped it, and all hands are safe. So it's going to be an error on Tony Oliva to allow the A's to have runners now at first and third. Webster's coming on now to bat for Jim Roland. And Oliva is usually a very dependable fielder, but that wind really had him that time. Rick Mundy, of course, had to hold up to find out what was going to happen. Second baseman, Rod Carew, had sprinted back as far as he could for the ball. The wind caught it, took it out of his territory. Oliva was charging on for it and got under it all right, and had to reach up for the ball. When he did, the wind at the last minute just took it right away from him. He hit the tip end of his glove and rolled away. Remmel Webster coming up to the plate now to hit for the Oakland A's, batting for Roland. Webster batting at 400. He has 2 runs batted in so far this year. Utility first baseman and outfielder. Chance to him with a fastball right across those white kangaroo shoes. That'll be ball 1. Runners at first and third here for the A's. They're trying to get up on the scoreboard here in the sixth inning. They're trailing 5-0. Down comes the pitch. Webster swings on a low curveball and punches it foul off to the left of the plate that stands out of play. 1 ball and 1 strike. Roland came in and pitched 1/3 of the 4th inning and pitched the 5th. So he's pitched 1 1/3 innings and has been lifted now for a pinch batter. Webster up there swinging to Wood. He's a left-hand hitter. Chance leans forward, gets his sign from Roseboro. Delivers a plate. Webster swings, hits a high fly ball out into relatively short left field. Greg Nettles under it. Makes the catch. Here's the tag up by Rick Mundy. The throw comes in, but is cut off by the shortstop. Rick Mundy comes on in to score on a sacrifice fly hit by Ramon Webster here in the sixth inning. So it's now a 5-1 ball game. So here in this sixth inning, Dean Chance has been robbed of a no-hitter and has been robbed of a shutout. It's a 5-1 ball game as the A's are trying to get back into it on a solid and even footing. The runner still at first base is Pagliarone, and the batter up now is Campaneris. One out. Down comes the pitch to Campaneris, and the little fellow's after it. Hits it off the handle foul. It's drilled right back into the seats behind home plate. No balls, one strike to count on Campaneris. He's starting the third batting around for the A's. He's been up twice, struck out and fly to center field. He's having the devil's own time getting himself untracked here as a batsman this year. Chance works to him with a fastball and pours it through there, but it's low, and the count is 1 ball and 1 strike. One thing for sure, if Campaneris is not on the base paths running, it makes it a little bit easier for the opposite ball club. This guy can devil a pitcher like you wouldn't believe. And his speed on the base paths sorely needed each time the ball game is played. He's after a pitch that's a jammer and fouls it off the third base side on the ground. So Campaneris' count is 1 ball and 2 strikes. One out here. Pagliarone is the runner at first base. Having gotten there when Oliva dropped a fly ball for the first error for the Minnesota Twins. Now the A's have 1 run on 1 hit. The Twins have 5 runs on 7 hits. So 4 more runs are needed by the Oakland A's to get back on an even footing with the Twins as Chance pitches to Campaneris. Campy swings and fouls it away right down off the left foot of John Roseboro, the veteran catcher of the Twins. Campy's count is 1 ball and 2 strikes. The only other ball game being played this afternoon in either league, because it's played in the American League, the New York Yankees defeated the Boston Red Sox 6-4. Stottlemyre beating Stang. Now Dean Chance pitches the plate. Campaneris on a check swing takes it inside and tight. Campy dropped his bat that time to make sure that plate umpire Odom didn't call a half swing against him. Campy actually was twisting away from that high inside tight one. Chance shakes off Roseboro. Now he's ready. 2-2's the plate to Campaneris. The pitch is swung on by Campy and popped foul. Roseboro will have no play on this. It'll be back on the screen. Well, Campy's hanging in there tough. Has a count of 2 balls and 2 strikes. Got 1 out here in the top half of the 6th inning. The A's have scored 1 time, and they're up on the board now. They're just 4 runs behind. It's 5-1 in favor of the Twins. Campaneris gets on. Tommy Reynolds will be up there. Campy swings this time, hits the ball to deep shortstop. Up with it comes Cardenas. Goes the short way to Carew at second base, forcing Pagliarone for out number 2. And Campaneris now has become a base runner. Let's see what Campy's going to be doing. Of course, probably not much running, being 4 runs behind. But Pagliarone is out now. Second out in the inning. 6-4 put out if you're putting it down in the books with us this afternoon. That brings on Tommy Reynolds. Reynolds has been up twice today and has not been able to get the ball past shortstop. Cardenas has thrown him out on both occasions. Campaneris will lead at first. Reynolds ducks a high inside pitch right at the head. That'll be ball 1. Dean Chance moves that ball around there on you quite well. He's got quite an assortment of stuff. Looks back over the shoulder, checking Campaneris. Throws to the plate the fastball. Reynolds punches it through into right field for the base hit. Campaneris moves to second, holds on as Oliva comes up with the ball and fires it in very quickly to shortstop, who almost put the tag on Campaneris as he had overrun second base and had to hurry and scamper back. But Reynolds delivers with a hit into right field behind the runner. Campaneris moving down successfully to second base. He was off a mind for a moment, I believe, to try to take third, and then he saw that Oliva was up with that ball quickly and drove it right back into the shortstop Cardenas, who was trying to get in behind Campaneris. And almost did it. So that'll be hit number 2 of Dean Chance. The A's now have 1 run and 2 hits. They have 2 outs here in this inning. They have 2 men on. Campaneris at second, Reynolds at first. Both men can run. And here is Reggie Jackson, who has flied to center and is grounded out to the right side to Rod Carew, the second baseman. Jackson waiting. Chance delivers to him, and Jackson swings, hits the ball up into the air in center field. Well hit. Ted Uhlaender going back. Still going back, right in front of the running track, way back, makes the catch. Looked for the moment as though Jackson had gotten that ball enough up into the wind to get it out of here. The ball was well hit, but you've got 430 feet to go to hit the fence. So Uhlaender, wheeling with the crack of the bat, was able to get under it, back on the warning track and make it. So 1 run for the A's to get up on the scoreboard. There were 2 base hits. There was 1 error, and there were 2 men left on. So the score at the end of 5 1/2 innings of play, Minnesota 5, and the Oakland A's have 1.
You're shopping for a low-priced car with a lot of moxie this week? Great. Shop one of us Pontiac dealers. We got a custom S that'll knock your eyes out. Hardtops, sedans, wagons, choice of colors, specially equipped with the kind of options you want. Plus the longest list of standard safety and performance equipment ever offered by Pontiac. And all featuring the great ride only a wide tracking Pontiac can give. All at prices you'll find hard to believe. Plus the highest trade-ins going. How come? We're giving breakaway deals right now. That's how come. Drop in this week. Ask for our breakaway deal on the low-priced car with a lot of moxie. Pontiac Custom S. You'll break away.
Now to the last half of inning number 6. And, of course, Webster hit for Rowland in the top half of the 6th inning. Means we're going to have a new pitcher for the Oakland A's. And the new pitcher coming on will be the sidearm stickball pitcher, Ed Sprague. And while Ed Sprague starts to throw a few down from the mound to get the feel of it before pitching, let's pause here for station identification. This is the Oakland A's Baseball Network.
The Good Life is here on KNBR Radio, the big one in San Francisco.
Ed Sprague out on the mound right now, making his 5th appearance this year. He has relieved 4 times and has no record. Matter of fact, he relieved on the 9th of this month against the Chicago White Sox at Oakland and pitched 1 2/3 innings. He came back then on the 12th against Kansas City and pitched 2 innings of ball. Came back on the 15th against Minnesota in the only ball game they played at the Coliseum this year, in that 5-4 ball game, which Minnesota was the victor. Ed Sprague was in a net ball game for 1 inning, and then at Kansas City, in the second game yesterday, Ed Sprague pitched 1/3 of an inning. So he's making his 5th appearance. Ed Sprague out on the mound right now. He'll pitch first of all here in the last half of the 6th inning to Dean Chance, the Minnesota pitcher. Dean, a right-handed batter, has been up twice in the ball game. He walked in the 3rd inning and was worked around as one of the runs. And then in the 4th inning, led off striking out. Swings on a sinker this time. So Tommy hooked the ball, and had that by him before he had the bat off his shoulder. So that's strike 1. Sprague comes sidearm again with a pitch that's in there for the strike. 0-2. Ed Sprague doing the pitching now for the Oakland A's. We're in the last half, inning number 6. Score 5-1 the Twins. There's a great big curveball that snaps off outside. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Sprague stepped a little bit toward third base and cross-fired the plate that time and snapped it off outside. 1-2 delivery. There's that sidearmer again. Swung on and fouled away. Well, the fans here sort of give a rock round of applause to their pitcher, Dean Chance, for swinging at that one. Getting a piece of it. Not known as a good hitting pitcher by any manner of means. Takes a look at this pitch. It costs him. That's called strike 3. So Sprague comes out to strike out the first man he faces here in the 6th inning. That'll only be the 5th strikeout against the Twins here this afternoon, who are leading the ball game 5-1. The batter coming up to the plate now is leadoff for Ted Uhlaender, left-hand hitter, one of the 6 in the batting lineup today for Billy Martin's Minnesota Twins. Uhlaender has lined to left to Reynolds for an out, has singled to right and scored a run, has walked his last time out. Takes a pitch low and outside for ball 1. That Reynolds certainly did make a diving catch in the last half of the 1st inning to rob Uhlaender of what could have been extra bases. Sprague rocks back, comes over the top of the fastball, swung on and lined into left field for the base hit. Reynolds up with the ball, feeds it back into the infield, and with 1 out, Uhlaender becomes a base runner at first base. That'll give him 2 for 3 here this afternoon, and will be the first hit off Ed Sprague. And for the Twins. That'll be hit number 8. They got 7 off Dobson, none off Rowland in his 1 1/3 innings in relief, and now they get 1 off Sprague. Batting left-handed is Rod Carew, the second baseman. He has struck out twice and has doubled once. He doubled to right center field in the first inning. Was cut down on the fielder's choice play. Struck out in the third, struck out in the fourth. Sprague checks his runner over at first base. That's Uhlaender. Peters on the corner. Bando shallow at third. The pitch is taken low and outside. That'll be ball 1. Uhlaender bluffed going to second base, and Pagliarone was right up out of the crouch, ready to fire. Uhlaender decided not to test Pag's arm. 1 ball, no strike count. Sprague checks that runner to Uhlaender again. Now he's ready. Throws to the plate. The pitch is on the inside this time. 2 balls and no strikes. So Sprague keeping that ball low. Last half, inning number 6. Twins lead at 5-1 by virtue of 5 big runs they picked up in inning number 3 off starting pitcher Chuck Dobson. Dobson in 2 2/3 innings gave up 5 runs on 7 hits, walked a man and struck out 1. Rowan came on in his relief to shut it off. Now Sprague is trying to do the same thing here. 6th inning. The pitch with a runner breaking is swung on and missed. Throw down to Campaneris is not in time, and Uhlaender steals it. Well, the Twins had a stolen base to their efforts here this afternoon. This one stolen by Uhlaender. Gives him his 2nd steal, incidentally, of the year. Uhlaender on at second base. The count at the plate is 2 balls and 1 strike on Carew. But Uhlaender has legged his way into scoring position at second base. Sprague will be checking him now over the right shoulder. Now the pitch. Down it comes to Carew. He runs up on it and bunts the ball back toward the mound. Sprague's only play will be to Cater. At first base, he throws the ball past Cater for an error, allowing the run to come in to score, and going on down to third base on the overthrow at first will be Rod Carew. Sprague had that ball in plenty of time, but grabbed it and threw past first base for an error. That allows the run to come in to score. Winding up at third base, Rod Carew. The batter is Tony Oliva now. That'll be the 2nd error for the Oakland A's. One was charged, if you recall, to center fielder Rick Monday earlier in the ball game. Batting left-handed, Tony Oliva, runner at third base. Infield is pulled up tight now. Sprague delivers fastball right across the shoe tops. That'll be ball 1. 6-1 the score in favor of the Minnesota Twins. We'll see them for 3 more days right here at Metropolitan Stadium in Bloomington. Down comes the pitch, outside and high. 2 balls and no strikes. Official score just reminds us again that there's no sacrifice credited to Carew. He was batting for a base hit. An error all the way, allowing him to get to third and a run to come in to score. Pitch is swung on. Off right back foul. So Oliva's count now is 2 balls and 1 strike. It all started with a dribbling, unintentional single down the third base side back in the 3rd inning by Johnny Roseboro, who's completely fooled on a pitch. Sidearm delivery. Swung on and hammered into center field. It's in for the base hit. The run will come in easily to score. Oh, Oliva drives in a run, his 2nd of the ball game, with a single into center field. That'll be the 2nd run here in the 6th inning. Twins now lead at 7-1. Sprague has given up 2 runs, 2 hits. The batter now is Harmon Killebrew, and he finds Oliva at first base. Only 1 out here in the 6th inning. Sprague is ready to work. Comes sidearm with a big curveball to Killebrew, and it's just a little low. It'll be ball 1. Sun's back out now. We've lost the misty rain. There's a throw to first. It's not in time. Oliva stepping back in ahead of it. Sprague ready to work again. Bumps it in there to Killebrew. The pitch is swung on and tipped foul right off the chest protector of the plate umpire, Jim Odom. The ball finds its way back to the mound now to Ed Sprague. One out, last half of the sixth inning, one base runner. 2 runs have been scored for the Twins. They lead at 7-1. Sidearm pitch. Killebrew waves at it. Misses. That's strike 2. Eddie stepped toward third, cross-fired him. Little time is being called now for Sal Bando. The sun having come out, he wants his sunglasses. So he's got him now back to his position. 1 ball, 2 strike count. Oliva leads off at first base. The 1-2 pitch now to Killebrew. Side armor is called strike 3. Killebrew's out of there. He checked his swing that time, but still the pitch was in there. So Sprague picks up his second strikeout. There are 2 outs. Oliva is still at first base, and Greg Nettles comes up to the plate. Another left-hand hitter. We'll keep an eye on Sprague. He's been working a lot of over-the-top pitches to these left-hand hitters. See if he works any to Greg Nettles. His natural delivery is a side armor. The submarine delivery. Checks a runner Oliva at first base. Comes over the top of the fastball and pops it in there for the strike. Oliva moving away from first base now. Hagg's got the mid up as a target, and Sprague's ready to work. Delivers. The pitch is taken inside. Nettles backing off to watch that ball sail across the shoe tops. 1 ball and 1 strike. Last half of inning number 6. Twins on this first meeting on the 4 days are leading at 7-1. Eddie's curveball is again inside, right about knee high. 2 ball, 1 strike count. If Nettles gets on, we'll have first baseman Rich Reese. Right now, we're concerned with Greg Nettles, the left fielder, and the base runner, Tony Oliva. Fastball right in off the hips. So the count jumps to 3-1 on Nettles, who right now looks down at Morgan, the coach at third base. Tony Oliva, with his hands folded across his chest, stands there at first base with Danny Cater. Now he takes his lead and immediately draws a throw from Ed Sprague, but that's not in time. The outfield for Nettles pulled drastically around to the right. Big hole in the outfield is right down the left field line. Sprague delivers 3-1 as the runner breaks. The pitch is swung on. There's a line drive base hit, single into right field. Here comes Jackson up with the ball. Fires it in to third base, but not nearly in time. With Oliva traveling all the way around to third on the hit and run play. Oh, the Twins aren't through here in the last half of the 6th inning yet. That'll be the 3rd hit of Sprague. There is no activity down in the Oakland A's bullpen. The batter coming up to the plate now is Reese. 2 big runs here in the inning for the Minnesota Twins so far on 3 base hits. They have runners at first and third. There has been an error so far in the inning. Charge it to pitcher Sprague. Soft curveball is inside, right up against the belt buckle. 1 ball, no strike count on Reese, who has grounded out to shortstop, has singled to right field, and has struck out in that order. Last time out was in the 5th. He struck out. Sprague checks up on the runners at first and third, delivers a plate fastball. Is punched foul back into the stands out of play. 1 ball, 1 strike. Reese settling the hard hat down on his head with the palm of his right hand. Now is up at the plate, ready to go. About midway in batter's box all the way around. Down comes the pitch to him, way outside. And Pagliarone saved it. And he catches the runner off at first base, goes down to first base to Danny Cater. Then the runner, Oliva, breaking from third. The throw back to Pagliarone, and they get him. So Oliva is caught stealing and tagged out by Pagliarone at the plate. Well, it's 2 runs here in the last half of the 6th inning. 2 runs on 1, 2, 3 base hits. There was 1 error, and there was 1 man left on. The score at the end of 6 full innings of play now, it is Minnesota 7, and Oakland has 1. We were looking just a moment ago at the A's yearbook. We feel quite sure that you'll like to have one copy of this year's book for several different reasons. First of all, because it commemorates the 40th anniversary of the A's and the starting of the A's by Mr. Connie Mack, who founded the Athletics back in 1901 in the city of Philadelphia. Very fine stories about Connie Mack, about his start in baseball, how the A's were born in Philadelphia. Shows you the world champions of 1929. It gives you a complete rundown of the club officials today and gives you all of the men that are playing on the Oakland A's ball club. Both family pictures and record pictures and all their records. You can obtain your copy of the yearbook simply by mailing your request to Yearbook, Oakland A's, Oakland Coliseum. And enclose $1.25 to 25 cents for handling and mailing. So get your copy right away. Now we're ready for the top half of the 7th inning. Here's Monty.
Here's the first pitch to Sal Bando, and it's a bouncer to Killebrew near third. He slings it over across the diamond, and it pulls the first baseman Reese off the bag. Bando gets around the tag. He's safe at first. That Reese made quite a circus try at getting him. It's an error on Harmon Killebrew on the throw. Bando is safe over at first base. That's the second error on the Twins in this ball game, but they can afford a few because they're leading by a score of 7-1. Here's Danny Cater. Danny 0 for 2 this afternoon, hit into a double play in the 2nd inning and flied to right in the 5th. Chance has allowed only 2 base hits, but even at that, he was very close to being in deep trouble when Jackson almost hit one out of here with 2 on. Pitch swung on it, missed, strike 1. Chance has not won a game this year. This is only his 2nd outing. 0-1 pitch. Cater fouls it off. Last year, the A's beat Dino twice. However, for his career, he has beaten the Athletics 12 times. They have beaten him only 6. This fine right-hander has a winning record against almost all clubs. No ball, 2 strikes on Cater. Pitch. Inside, ball 1. With the A's trailing 5-1 and 2 men on base, Reggie Jackson hit a 420-foot blast into center field. And had the wind had not shifted just shortly prior to that, the ball would have been nestled into the center field seats here. Here's the pitch. Cater fouls it down. So that was a big one that Uhlaender was able to run down. That would have made it a 5-4 ball game. But instead of that, it's now 7-1 as the Twins came back then and scored a couple off Ed Sprague. 1-2 pitch. Cater hits a bouncer to short. Looks like a double play bar. Carden is stole. Carew for 1 and over to Reese the double play. So Cater hits into his 2nd double play of the afternoon. And it brings to the plate Dick Green, who has done so far not much at that plate today. He has struck out twice. Chance has had excellent stuff, and he's had good control. He's walked only 1 man. Green takes a curve for a called strike. Dick's 28th birthday today. Chance pitches. Green bunts the ball down the third base line. Picked up by Killebrew. His throw to first. He got him this time. Greeny bunted that one a little hard. So it's 3 up, 3 down. No runs or hits, 1 error, and nobody left. The score in the middle of the 7th, 7-1, Minnesota.
You're on the road a lot, but you'd like to have the kind of car that doesn't make it seem like you're on the road a lot? Wide track it. See one of us Pontiac dealers this week. We've got great new 1969 Pontiac Catalinas at prices you'll find hard to believe. Hardtops and sedans, convertibles, wagons, choice of colors, with all the power options you want. And with the longest list of standard performance and safety equipment ever offered by Pontiac. Great trade-ins now, too. How come? It's all part of the breakaway deals we're making right now on all our new 1969 Pontiacs. So drop by and see one of us Pontiac dealers and get your breakaway deal. You may be on the road a lot, but in a new 69 Catalina, it won't seem like you're on the road a lot.
Will pitch now to Rich Reese, who was at the plate when they got Tony Oliva. Twins have indicated certainly that they're going to be a much different ball club than they have been the past few years. They're going to do a lot of running under Billy Martin. They have basically the same people. But Martin likes to run, and he has added a little speed in a few spots that they have not had before. Ed Sprague. Ready, here's the pitch. There's a drive to the middle, a base hit. Boy, these Twins are hanging them out today. That's 11 base hits so far. Reese gets his second. Here's Leo Cardenas, the shortstop now for Minnesota. He has not had a hit today. He's been very busy out at shortstop. He's been fielding quite flawlessly, and he has had a lot of chances. There's a pitch, curve, low, outside in the dirt. Nice pickup by Pagliarone. Another thing the Twins have done here this afternoon that a little bit out of character with what many teams in the big leagues do. They were ahead 5-1 and are still running. They've been doing the hit and run and stealing with a pretty good lead. Here's the pitch. It's inside for a ball. 2 balls, no strikes to count. Nobody out. We're in the 7th inning. The Twins pouring it on 7-1. They're trying for their 7th win in a row. They beat California here yesterday 12-1. Sprague's pitch is low and outside, ball 3. So Eddie has not been sharp at all here today. This is the kind of a day you wonder how a pitcher ever throws. A hitter hits 35-mile-an-hour winds, and it's blustery, rainy, cold. There's a called strike. 3-1 now. Flag has changed directions about 4 or 5 times an inning out there today. Looking out over the stands in left field, there's big plowed field out there, and you can't see anything but dust blowing. Here's the pitch with a runner going. It's sliced foul out of play, and the Twins continue to run. Leading by 6 runs. Full count now on Cardenas. Runner off first base. He's going again. Here's the pitch. Ball's popped up right side of the infield. Danny Cater staying right with it. He's going to be in fair territory when it makes the catch. The wind blew it around. Danny got it, and Reese made it back into first base. So Eddie came back to get Cardenas from 3-0. One out, here's Roseboro, the catcher who had a base hit in the 3rd inning. It started the Twins' big inning. 2 strikes on him. Dobson made a pitch to the inside part of the plate. Roseboro tried to get out of the way and couldn't, but got a base hit out of it when he rolled down the third base line. Here's the pitch. High, ball 1. Tomorrow it'll be Raleigh Fingers getting his first major league start. Young left-hander by the name of Tommy Hall will pitch for Minnesota. Oh, the wind's blowing strongly now. They're almost holding the game up. Sounds like a tornado almost.
Does look like a little bit like Kansas to you?
Here's a 1-0 pitch. It's out of play. Wow. It's a good day to be inside, but 4,130 are here today. Sprague turns and throws back over to first base. One ball, one strike. Pitch. Hot shot on the ground off the glove of Danny Cater. Dick Green hustles, picks it up, throws to Sprague covering. He got him on a great play. Now we got an argument. Billy Martin's out on the field. He's claiming that Ed Sprague bobbled the throw from the second baseman, Dick Green. The umpire called the guy out at first. Martin is asking Ed Runge to give him some help on the play. Boy, Billy's pouring it on the first base umpire. Dick Green made a tremendous play that time. That ball was off the glove of Danny Cater at first. Green backed it up. Now Martin's going down to second base to appeal to Ed Runge on the play. They're leading 7-1, but this gives you an idea of how Billy Martin battles. Now Martin is going back to the first base umpire. And he's pointing his finger, shaking his finger at him. He is nose to nose with him and pouring it on. And Berkeley Billy is after him. Now here comes Runge over after him. Now Billy's got a conference call going on between the umpires. Sprague did bobble the ball, there's no question about it. But he had clean possession of it at one time. The argument's over, and the fans give Billy a round of applause.
Well, actually, Marty, I think Eddie had bobbled that ball after the put-out had been made, and he stepped off at first base, and he started to turn around, and that's when he bobbled the ball, but he kept it.
We have a bench hitter now. The name of Manuel. Left-handed batter coming up for Minnesota. Charlie Manuel. He's a rookie. And the pitch coming is inside for a ball. Twins have somebody working out in their bullpen now. Apparently, with this tremendous wind gale blowing, they decided that Dean Chance shouldn't work anymore here today. Pitch. It's inside, ball two. I'm not exaggerating, fans. The flag's about to be torn off the pole here. Fans are heading for cover. That plowed field over behind this ballpark, you can't see a bit of it. Wind's got to be up 50 or 60 miles an hour now. There's a bouncing ball right side of the infield. Green has got it. He throws to Cater for the out. So the side is retired here in the seventh inning to score. Minnesota 7, Oakland 1.
This season, 397 pounds of mustard.
After 7 innings, and left-hander Joe Griselda, who at one time was in the A's organization, goes to the mound for Minnesota. I'm frankly glad to see this guy get a chance to play in the big leagues again. Joe had a lot of tough luck in the A's organization, went over to the Mets, thought he had that ball club made. He came out of the Detroit Tiger organization. Here's a guy who's been in the minor leagues many, many, many years. So Griselda comes on, and there are other defensive changes with Tovar at left and Quillisi at third. We'll catch those up for you in just a minute. Let's pause for station identification. This is the Oakland A's Baseball Network.
The Good Life is here on KNBR Radio. The big one in San Francisco, where it's 56 degrees.
Grisenda, left-hander, is on the mound for the Minnesota Twins. He has been in 5 games, winning none, losing one. He has an earned run average of 1.50 so far. Rick Monday will be the first man that he faces. The Twins have Cesar Tovar out in left field, Frank Quillisi at third base. And they've announced now the wind gust here is 47 miles an hour. Oh, brother. And to throw out an anchor on a day like this. Rick Monday got the first hit of the ball game off Dean Chance. It was a double in the 6th inning down the left field line. Okay, Monday steps in to face Grisenda. Left-hander for the Twins, throws to the plate, a called strike. The Twins traded away a left-hander, Merritt, but they had some good ones in their farm system in Hall and Grisenda. 0-1 pitch. Monday fouls one off down the third baseline, strike 2. I think Grisenda was probably the surprise of the camp for the Minnesota Twins. Oh, he played his first pro ball in 1955. This guy struck out 189 batters one year in the minor leagues at Birmingham. Here's the pitch, high for a ball, 1-2. Monday for the A's, ready. Here's the 1-2 pitch. Curve is inside, ball 2. Grisenda throws 2-2. Monday takes outside, ball 3. The Twins broke the game open early against Chuck Dobson in the 3rd inning. They got 5 runs, added 2 more in the 6th inning. And it's 7-1 Oakland. The A's have had only 2 hits today. There's ball forward, Rick Monday. Rick is on. That's just the 2nd walk issued to A's today. Here's Jim Pagliarone. Pags 0 for 2. Grisenda pitches to Pag, who takes a call strike. Oh, 1 pitch. Slow curveball is low. It's 1-1. Monday got a small lead off first. Here's a pitch to Pagliarone. It's too high. The Twins have some more action out of their bullpen. Billy Martin is going out to the mound in the trot. Talk to Grisenda here. It's a 7-1 lead. And Billy wants to get this thing going. He knows he can't get it over with the pitcher throwing balls. It's raining again now. We have run the gamut in weather here today, everything but snow. Here's the pitch. Pagliarone fouls it off, 2-2. The crowd looks like it's been on a yo-yo all day. Somebody in the upper deck just once in a while yanks a string and they all start coming back up here. They'll quit raining, they'll go back down again. This is 4 trips today for everybody out of the box seats back under the cover. 2-2 pitch. Pagliarone hits one deep to left field. That ball's hit pretty good, but Tovar is there and makes the catch knee high. Pagliarone hit one hard, but it was fighting the wind all the way, and it's a miracle that Tovar was able to catch it. Here's Tom Hertzberger coming on, pinch hitter now. What did that say, Tom? Tom Corwin just said Hirschberger's coming up. I put them together. All right, here's Hirschberger up for the A's. He's going to be batting as a pinch hitter. First pitch is fouled away. Max batting 194. One strike, one out. Runner at first, the A's down by 6 runs. Resenda's pitch, bouncer foul. Resenda ahead at no balls, 2 strikes. Here's the pitch. A little high. Hirschberger waiting. Here's the pitch. Curve, strike 3 called. He's out of there. So Hirschberger is out looking on a Crescenda curveball. There are 2 down. Here's Campaneris. Campy 0 for 3 this afternoon. The A's, a team that led the American League in hitting last year. And Campaneris had more hits than any player in the league last year, and none of them's gotten started yet. Campy tried to hit that ball to right field and fouled it off. Strike 1. So far, the wins the A's have had been because of outstanding pitching. Here's the pitch. Campy takes inside at high ball 1. But those hits will start coming pretty soon, I would imagine, and put that together with the pitching, and it'll be all right. Today, Thompson, the pitcher, was bombed. And the A's got behind so much early, they had a hard time trying to get back in this one against a real good right-hander. Campaneris hits a bouncing ball to short. Cardenas has it, throwing to Carew for the 4th out, and that's all for the A's. In the 8th inning, no runs or hits. The man left on the score, 7-1, Minnesota.
This current road trip of the Oakland A's will be ending on May the 2nd. On May the 2nd, they will be returning home to the Coliseum for a Friday night game with Seattle, and then one again on Saturday, a day game.
Hasn't started yet. Campy tried to hit that ball to right field and fouled it off. Strike 1. So far, the wins the A's have had been because of outstanding pitching. Here's the pitch. Campy takes inside at high ball 1. But those hits will start coming pretty soon, I would imagine, and put that together with the pitching, and it'll be all right. Today, Thompson, the pitcher, was bombed. And the A's got behind so much early, they had a hard time trying to get back in this one against a real good right-hander. Campaneris hits a bouncing ball to short. Cardenas has it, throwing to Carew for the 4th out, and that's all for the A's. In the 8th inning, no runs or hits. The man left on the score, 7-1, Minnesota.
This current road trip of the Oakland A's will be ending on May the 2nd. On May the 2nd, they will be returning home to the Coliseum for a Friday night game with Seattle, and then one again on Saturday, a day game. They'll have a doubleheader with Seattle then on the 4th of May. And, of course, that will be an afternoon affair on Sunday. And Tuesday, the Washington Senators come in for 2 nights, followed by the New York Yankees on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Then Boston for 2 nights, and then comes Detroit. But the big part about the current upcoming homestand will be the May 10th Saturday day game with the New York Yankees, and that'll be bat day. We'd like to invite all of the youngsters to come down and get their bats at the Coliseum. Please remember, all youngsters 12 years and under will be admitted to the general section of the Coliseum for 75 cents. So mark it down on your calendar now, kiddies. May the 10th, Saturday, bat day with the Yankees. We'll see you.
Paul Lindblad is the A's new pitcher. 4th one used today. Chuck Dobson went 2 2/3 innings. Gave up 5 runs and 7 hits. Rowland went 2 1/3 innings and did not give up a hit or a run. He struck out 3. Ed Sprague pitched 2 innings and gave up 2 runs and 4 hits, striking out 2. Lindblad in his 3rd game of the year. Lindy pitched 1/3 of an inning on the 2nd day of the season, and 6 days later against Minnesota pitched 1 inning. So he's only pitched an inning and a 1/3 of baseball so far this year. Lindy ought to be pretty well rested up. They've been saving him for late inning relief, and actually the A's haven't been ahead that much in a ball game or a short amount and had a pitcher get in trouble. We've had some pretty good pitching performances in the wins the A's have had. There have been 6 of them, and we've had complete pitching jobs by Odom, Nash, and Hunter, and Dobson in 4 of those games. So there's not been a whole lot of work for the late inning relievers. And Lou Krause came into one of those ball games and saved one for Odom. So there's not been a whole lot of work for Krause and Lindblad as yet. But you can bet there will be before the season's over. Here's Ted Uhlaender, a hustling center fielder from Minnesota who's had 2 for 3 today. Here's Lindy's pitch. It's outside, ball 1. And Uhlaender, who did not have a hit when he came into the Oakland Coliseum in something like 19 or 20 at-bats, has been hitting them out pretty good lately. There's a curveball low and away. 2 balls, no strikes. Lindy's 2-0 pitch. Strike. It's in there. It's top of the order for the Twins here in the 8th inning. Uhlaender, Carew, and Oliva. With the win here this afternoon, the Twins can jump on to the top spot in the American League standings in the Division West. Called strike 2. The A's were 1 base hit away from being on top by themselves yesterday. They lost down in Kansas City in that 2nd game, and they all figured that a hit would have KO'd Drabowski earlier. Here's a 2-2 pitch. Slow curve is high, ball 3. So this year is going to be quite an exciting one, I think, with the A's, Chicago, Minnesota. The Angels probably will be playing much better than they are so far. 3-2 pitch, fouled away. Take a look at the standings right now in that Western Division. And it's anybody. The Twins are the team somebody's going to have to knock off because they're hot right now. They're about to win their 7th in a row here today. Another foul ball back into the crowd. Three balls, 2 strikes. Lindblad's pitch. Hot shot on the ground. Danny Cater cannot come up with it. It goes out into right field. A base hit. Uhlaender's going to hold on at first base as Jackson comes up with that ball. They were giving Uhlaender the go-ahead sign there for a minute, but then Jackson came up with it. And Uhlaender has to hold on. That's his 3rd hit of the day. Here's Carew. He has had 1 hit. A double in the 1st inning. He struck out twice and gotten on an error. 7-1 the score. Minnesota's leading. They out-hit the A's 12-2. Here's the pitch. Curve for a called strike. The Twins have in their lineup in Uhlaender, Carew, Oliva, Nettles, and Reese, and Cardenas, all guys who are fairly fast. Much different from the lineup they had the last few years. Here's the pitch. Bouncing ball hit slowly towards Danny Cater at first. He's only going to have 1 play. That's the Dick Green covering at first base. Green, he turned around. He was afraid there for a second they weren't going to call Carew out, but they did. Uhlaender moves into second. There's one out now, and the batter is Tony Oliva, who's had 2 hits, knocking in 2 runs today. All baseball action will be tonight, except the one game in the American League. Other than this one, New York and Boston, it's already over. The Yankees won it. The pitch. Popped up on the infield. Sal Bando calling for it in around the pitcher's mound. And he's got it. 2 away. Here's Cesar Tovar coming up for his first time today. He's a little guy that played almost every day last year in a different position. This year so far, Tovar has been used only in certain lineups against left-handed pitching and then late in the game for defensive reasons after the Twins got a lead. Here's a pitch to the right-handed batter, and it's in there for a call strike. Tovar, the last 2 years, have been voted the most outstanding Minnesota Twins player. Here's the pitch to him, and there's a fly ball in the line drive top area, left center field. It's going to the wall. Another run scores. Bundy picks the ball up in the warning track at center, throws it back into the relay man. It's going to be a triple for Tovar. So they put Tovar in for defense, and he tripled off the left center field wall. 430 feet from the plate. It's now an 8-1 ball game, Minnesota. That spot in the batting order has knocked in 3 runs today. Killebrew had 2, and now Tovar 1. Here's Frank Quillisi up to bat for the first time. Pitch to him is swung on and missed, strike 1. Quillisi is sort of a playing coach here in Minnesota. He goes in at third base in late innings of a game where the Twins are ahead in the place of Killebrew. Twins have pounded out 13 base hits today. Here's the pitch. Called strike. Now the 0-2 pitch. Outside for a ball. During this current winning streak the Twins are on, their team is hitting the ball at .332 average. They have outscored their rivals 40-18 over the last 6 games prior to today. There's a foul ball back to the screen. So in the last 7 games, counting this one, the Twins have scored 48 runs in 7 games. That's an average of about 7 runs a ball game. You don't need a whole lot of pitching if you get that kind of offense. The pitch to Quillisi is high and outside, ball 2. Two and 2, Lindblad pitching. Here it comes. Foul ball. Quillisi tried to check his swing and hit the bat. Bounced off the hand of Jim Pagliarone. He's rubbing his right hand a little bit right now. Lindblad winds up and pitches 2-2, high and outside, ball 3. Fingers for the A's and Tom Hall for the Twins. On Wednesday, Catfish Hunter will come back and start again. He was knocked out of the box yesterday over in Kansas City. Here's a 3-2 pitch. Fly ball down the third base line. Sal Bando calling for it and makes the catch in foul ground. So that's all for the Twins here in the 8th inning. They scored 1 run on 2 hits. We go to the 9th. It's 8-1 Minnesota.
Dave Niles.
Frank Dill.
Yes, sir, Dave, I've got an idea. Why don't we pretend you're calling a game? You're the play-by-play man. Yep. So you're out at the Coliseum. The game is about ready to start, and you're on the air, Dave.
Okay, hi there, sports fans. Here we are at the old ballpark, ready for another disaster.
Wait a minute. Disaster, Dave? What do you mean, disaster?
You didn't let me finish, Frank. I was going to say we're ready for another disaster for the opposing team. See, we're going to destroy them.
Well, I think it'd be better if you just stick with the facts, Dave.
Okay, Frank, let's do it again. Hi there, sports fans. It's another rotten day out at the old ballpark.
Wait a minute, Dave. It's never a rotten day at the ballpark, Dave.
It's not?
No.
Okay. Once again. Hi there, sports fans. It's another beautiful day at the ballpark. You fans that are being blown out of the seats over there in Section G, just relax. The tornado will blow over in an hour or so.
Wait, Dave, you go ahead and practice. I just remembered I've got an appointment. I'm getting out of here.
Okay, Frank. Hi there, sports fans. It's another day at the old ballpark. And here we are.
It's the top half of the 9th inning now. For the Oakland A's, it'll be Tommy Reynolds, Reggie Jackson, and Sal Bando. Against Joe Griselda, a left-hander, who's trying to hold on to one here for Dean Chance, who pitched 7 very strong innings. Dino will be our guest on the Head and Home show today. On Thursday here, it'll be John Odom for the A's and Boswell for Minnesota. We have 3 more afternoon games. We'll be on the air at 10 minutes past 11 o'clock Pacific Coast time all of those days. And then Friday night, the A's will throw Big Jim Nash at the Seattle Pilots in Seattle. It'll be our first trip ever in there, and that game will be televised back into the Bay Area on Channel 44 and throughout the state on the A's network. Here's Tom Reynolds now. Reynolds has had 1 hit today. Bouncer foul outside of third. The A's have had only 2. Tommy's hit safely in the last 4 games in which he has played. Pitch to him, swung on, line to left field. That's a base hit. And it goes down into the corner. Tovar chasing it. Reynolds touches first. He hits to second. And he's going to coast in there with a double. So for the last 4 games in a row, Tommy Reynolds has had 2 hits a game for the A's as he's busting his way right into that lineup. Reynolds on at second, and it brings up Reggie Jackson. He almost turned this game around for the A's with a blast in the 6th inning. The A's were trailing only 5-1 at the time. There were 2 on, and Jackson hit a 420-footer into left center field that was caught. Griselda's pitch. It's in the dirt. Ball 1. Jackson is a game-breaking type player. Yesterday in Kansas City, the A's were down by 2 runs, and Jackson hit one of the longest home runs ever seen in Kansas City to tie the ball game. He had 29 homers last year, and 13 of those 29 home runs either tied or won ball games. 1-0 pitch. It's a wild pitch, goes all the way back to the screen. Reynolds goes over to third base. Art Fowler goes out to the mound now. One of the new coaches for the Minnesota Twins. He pitches batting practice here. Well, they've had Billy Martin and Art Fowler both talking with Griselda, and they start their bullpen to work again. Twins are leading 8-1. You'd think they wouldn't be worried about a whole lot right here. Well, as Billy Martin said about yesterday's 12-1 ball game, he never considers them over until they get the last out. Jackson takes a strike. It's 2-1. Reynolds at third base with nobody down. Here's the pitch. Jackson takes call, strike 2. I don't know what Reggie's waiting on, but he has taken 2 fastballs right down the middle. 2-2 pitch. This one's outside, ball 3. Okay, Jackson plants his feet at the plate now, and the full count 3-2 pitch is on the way. Fouls it off. 3 balls, 2 strikes. The A's got their only run in the 6th inning when Rick Monday doubled, went to third on an error, and scored on Ramon Webster's sacrifice fly ball. Off the line, here's a pitch to Jackson. It's high and inside, ball 4. So Reggie goes to first base, and that brings up Sal Bando. Sal has walked this afternoon, grounded out to third, and made it to first on an error. It took some rather fancy stepping around first base to get there. Now Grisenda's pitch to Bando, swung on and missed, strike 1. Bando digs in at the plate. Here's the pitch. Check swing is foul ball back to the screen. Strike 2. So Grisenda has quickly jumped up ahead of Bando now. Twin left-handers ready. Pitches. High, ball 1. You know, Al was mentioning Bad Day a moment ago. That's going to be May 10th. In Oakland, a Saturday afternoon, there's a real big day coming up, too, May 31st. It'll be Cap Day at the Coliseum, where everybody who goes gets a cap, not just the kids. 1-2 to Bando. Outside. It goes to 2-2 now.
The opposition that day, Monty, is going to be the Cleveland Indians, too.
That's right, on a big Saturday afternoon. Big story is, will the Hawk be with the Indians? 2-2 pitch. Strike 3 called. Bando jumped out away from the plate, and he is complaining bitterly now to Jim Odom. Standing off to the side of the plate, Bando got knocked right off the plate with that one, and the umpire called him out. So there's one away, runners still at first and third base, and the batter's Danny Cater is hit into 2 double plays in this game. Grisenda's second strikeout. Cater has to move out away from the plate while the wind blows dust up around there a little bit. A's yesterday left 10 runners at third base in their ball game in Kansas City, losing by 2. Cater takes outside, ball 1. They've had Reynolds at third base with nobody down here again today. The same thing happened yesterday at a critical time of the game. Pitch. Cater hits a drive deep to left field. That ball is way back there. Tovar at the fence cannot get it. It's off the wall. Here comes a man in to score, and because Jackson couldn't tell if it were going to be caught or not, he only makes it to second base. Danny Cater hit a line drive that just missed being a home run by about 2 feet up on that high screen in left field. It's an 8-2 ball game. Jackson at second base, and Cater on with the longest single of his life, probably. Here's Dick Green. Greeny without a hit today in 3 at-bats. Pitch to him. It's a wild pitch in the dirt. Both runners advance. That ball bounced out in front of home plate about 10, 15 feet. Billy Martin's coming out of the dugout. That's going to be all for Grisenda. So Billy is making a move to the bullpen right now. He's taking Grisenda out of here after the wild pitch moves the runners to second and third. Now Billy is showing signs to the manager that he's going to be not too patient with pitchers.
One thing about it, Marty, this Billy Martin doesn't believe in giving the other ball club any chance of any kind. He was that way as a player. He's been that way as a manager in the minor leagues. He's been that way as a coach. And he's showing it again here as a manager with the Minnesota Twins. Billy believes in one thing, Marty. He believes in getting on top, staying on top, because he says, as long as you're a front runner, you make the other guy play your kind of ball game. Or whatever you're doing, you make him come to you and rather you going to him. So Billy Martin, just to stop this thing right now, apparently is calling on another pitcher, and we'll see what happens. This Grisenda looks like a pretty good left-hander, though, Marty. It looks as though they've made a pretty good choice, this fella.
Well, Joe's, he's had a little control problems down through the years. He had a sensational earned run average of 1.20 year before last in the minor leagues when the Mets bought him. Had a lot of tough luck. This time, he comes out of there. One thing, we heard a very successful Major League manager say one time, you've got to have a little bit of killer instinct in you to be a good manager. He said when another club is down by 6 or 7 runs, don't abandon your game plan just because of that. He said if you've got an idea of how you want to play baseball, whether it be hit and run, a speed type game or what, he doesn't believe in quitting playing your style of game just because of the score of the game. I think that's a pretty good idea.
I do too, Monty, because after all, as they say in the trade, if you want to win ball games, you got to go out and get them. You got to go out and get them any way you can, and you got to fight knuckle and tooth all the way. I see Bob Miller's going to be your new pitcher, Monty.
I recall the year Maury Wills stole so many bases for the Major League record with the Los Angeles Dodgers. A lot of players and some fans even criticized him for running when his team was behind by quite a few runs in a ball game, and for running and stealing when they were ahead by 6 and 7 runs. But Wills says those are just as important as anything else. He said, I'm supposed to be paid to steal bases, and that's what I'm going to do. And he did it, disregarding the fact that he might be hurt in some of those tries down there.
Well, Walter Alston went all the way with him, Marty, in 1962 when he stole these 106 bases. And I was very lucky, I guess, that year. I had the broadcast in which he stole the record-setting number of bases. And Walter Alston, of course, always gave Maury Wills the opportunity to run whenever he wanted to.
That's one thing Campaneris with the A's has not done a whole lot of. When the A's in the past been behind or ahead by a whole lot, Campy doesn't run that much. And
there was another note on that broadcast, too, I meant to mention, Monty. The guy that was producing that broadcast on NBC that day happens to be our Mr. Ashby. And he and I worked together on that broadcast.
Well, here's Dick Green now. It's played with runners at second and third to 1 away against Bob Miller, a right-hander for Minnesota. Former Dodger pitches to Green, who takes a called strike. It's 1-1 now. Miller's been in 6 games, has a 6.00 earned run average. Cranks up and throws to Green. There's a fly ball in the infield. That's not going to score anybody. First baseman Rich Reese is under it and makes the catch, and there are 2 out now. So Dick has had lots of men on base ahead of him in the last couple of days. He's knocked in a few of them. If he'd have been hitting as hot in the last couple of days as he has been most of the year with those men in base, he would have had, well, I can think now of 7 more runs batted in. Here's Rick Monday now with 2 down. We're in the top half of the 9th inning. The A's trailing by 6 runs. Miller's pitch. And that's low, ball 1. Paid attendance here today, 4,130. They've drawn 49,740 so far here in Minnesota. They always draw well over 1 million here, but they never get started until the weather gets warm. Monday takes low for ball 2. We're talking today, it's one thing that is a little bit of a shame, really, and as much as the A's and the Twins, 2 of the top teams in the Western Division, have had to play this 4-game series early in the season in Minnesota, and they've all got to be day games. These 4 games have been played along July or so. They could have packed this place for all the big games. Here's a 2-0 pitch to Monday. He's taking a call strike. Eight to 2 the score. Imagine the Twins having a lead like this and using their third pitcher of the day. Chance, the starter, went 7 innings and was tough. 2-1 pitch. Monday rams one in the center, a base hit. That's going to score 2 runs. Jackson comes in to score. Cater comes right behind him, and Monday is back on target with that bat. It's an 8-4 ball game now. Let's pause for station identification. This is the Oakland A's Baseball Network.
The Good Life is here on KNBR Radio, the big one in San Francisco.
Now here's Jim Pagliarone coming up for the A's. The A's have been behind by several a lot of times this year, and they never seem to quit. Came back and almost caught a team that was ahead of them 7-1 earlier. Here's a pitch to Pag. It's inside, ball 1. 3 runs in this inning charged to Griselda. The A's have made the most of their hits. They've had only 5 hits and scored 4 runs. Pitch is inside and high, ball 2. Jim Pagliarone at the plate for the A's. He's 0 for 3 here this afternoon. Pitch. Down the middle, a call strike. They've got Ron Baranowski, their top reliever, up in the bullpen now. Here's a 2-1 pitch. Pagliarone hits one high in the air in the left field, not too deep. This should be the ball game. Tovar is under it and makes the catch, and that's it. Final score of the game, the Minnesota Twins 8 and the Oakland A's 4.
This is Chet Huntley, NBC News. During the course of this decade, we have witnessed more phenomenal events than ever before in our history. Miraculous advances in the fields of medicine, communications, and technology. Fantastic new products, ones most of us never dreamed were remotely possible. We've seen both college campuses and countries in revolt. War.